What's up, San Diego?
This is San Diego sports. The wins, the losses, the moments that matter, and the opinions that come with them.
Padres have clinched the playoffs in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 05 and 06.
No hype, no filter. Just the truth about your teams, your city, and the people who care about it most.
The reality is the expectations are higher now for this club than they were in 2019 and 2020 when the Padres hadn't made the playoffs that many times.
He's been here. He knows this city. And now he's leading the conversation every single day. Live and local on 97.3 The Fan.
This is fun. We're doing this for fun. This is fun. Have fun. Enjoy the fun with us having fun.
Now, here's Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? A happy Tuesday, everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got a lot to break down from yesterday. Off the field, we have a lot to break down from yesterday. Unfortunately, on the field, I will say this. The Padres did pretty well in terms of like a winning streak in their crucial 42. You're going to win 60 games. You're going to lose 60 games is what you do in the 42 extra that really matter. The Padres had won 11 games after winning 60 games, and they just took their first loss after losing their 60th game. So that's a tough one yesterday. I think overall in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really hurt you too bad. But what was missed was the fact that you had an opportunity to gain a game on the Phillies, be a game back from Philadelphia, and then have a 3-game lead on Arizona, and you failed to do it yesterday, late in the ball game, in a game where you had excellent pitching out of Adrian Morejon. You had Mason Miller throw 30-something pitches. Jake Cronenworth, I mean, he did everything in his power aside from, being able to successfully bunt, but nobody was able to do that yesterday. Work a phenomenal at-bat with 2 outs to tie the ball game up in the 8th inning and save the game in the 9th inning with which was a unbelievable glove flip on a questionable. I mean, that was a tough play, and he had a couple of those plays last night to keep the game alive. So you had this great comeback because the offense didn't really do anything early in the contest. You used all your best bullpen arms, and the thing that sucks to me is the 11th inning. Like, the 10th inning sucked too. Okay, I'm not going to say the 10th inning didn't also suck. I mean, getting a double play on a popped up bunt in the 10th inning is ridiculous. If you're Luis Campusano, he kind of has to go on the play. He's not very fast. You couldn't pinch run for him because he was the guy that came in for Freddie Fermin. I mean, you would be seriously rolling the dice if you were to pinch run for Luis Campusano in that inning. But, Dustin Harris just got called up. They wanted Sung-Moon Song to get reps down in AAA, which I think is fair. And in fact, Frank and I talked about that a couple of weeks ago. It's like, what are you doing with Sung-Moon Song up here anyway if he's not going to play all the time?
Should have done it months ago.
He needs reps. He needs to play. You're hampering his development by him not playing in games. And so the Padres are like, all right, well, we just signed Dustin Harris a couple of weeks ago to a minor league deal. He's been raking at the plate. Let's bring him up because we don't really care if he develops in terms of like getting reps. I think that's fine. So it's hard to blame a guy like Dustin Harris who pops up a bunt. Okay, that's an unfortunate play. You have to be able to execute a lot better. So the 10th inning, by all means, definitely sucked. Then you get to the 11th inning, and Morejon does a great job, and Jake Cronenworth glove flip makes a great play to keep that game alive and keep the 0 on the board and keep it 2-2. And then you get to the 11th. You got old Kirby Yates in for the Pittsburgh Pirates that we've seen, and you have Fernando at second. You got to be able to get a bunt down to get Fernando over. He is the winning run. Jake Cronenworth tries the bunt. He pops it up. At least Fernando's able to get back in time to second base. There's 1 out, and there's a runner on second. The way this offense has been playing, they should be able to get Fernando in from second base. And that's where Kirby Yates, I mean, you look at Jake Cronenworth's at bat. Jake Cronenworth did not see a single pitch in the strike zone. He took ball one. He tried to bunt a ball that was high out of the zone. He bunts it in the air for a pop-up. So right now, Kirby Yates has yet to throw a strike that wasn't swung at or attempted to be put in play by the Padres. He has yet to throw a called strike. Then you get to Manny Machado. He sees 4 straight balls that aren't even close. They're not even close. They're all in the dirt. He's throwing the splitter, trying to get Manny to chase. Manny knows better. He's been teammates with Kirby Yates in the past. 4 straight balls. You got runners on first and second. Then Ty France comes up. Okay? Ty France comes up. First pitch, ball in the dirt. The guy still has not thrown a strike. He has not. Kirby Yates is still yet to throw a strike as he is starting the third batter of the inning. Next pitch. It's a called strike, but it's not a strike. I mean, it is like 2 inches way off the plate. They have a challenge. Ty doesn't use it. Okay, fair enough. Pitch number 3 comes in. It's also called a strike. It's in the exact same place, maybe a little bit lower than pitch 2. Ty's like, yeah, we're not letting you get away with that 2 times in a row. It gets overturned. But at this point, Kirby Yates still has yet to throw a strike to a batter. Pitch number 4 comes in. It's a ball in the dirt. It's so far in the dirt, it doesn't even appear on the MLB.com little like game track thing that you can go look when you go look pitch by pitch. Ball 4 is in the dirt. So now that's basically 8 straight balls. But one of them got called a strike because the umpire last night was awful. I mean, that guy was terrible. I can't believe how bad he was last night. That's not why the Padres lost. Okay? 2 things can be true. Okay? Padres lost on their own, and the umpire was still bad. I mean, he was just bad. So now you got 8 straight balls. The guy has yet to throw a strike to a Padre. Next pitch, right down the middle, a little bit high zone. Ty fouls it off. Fine. It's a good pitch. That's the first strike that Kirby Yates has thrown in the 11th inning. Next pitch is a ball in the dirt. Ball 4. And now the bases are loaded with 1 out. And Kirby Yates has thrown a grand total of 1 strike in the inning. 1. He has thrown 1 strike. Now you get to Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill comes up. Kirby Yates has thrown 1 pitch in the strike zone. Look, he's got like 3 strikes total because Jake Cronenworth fouled one off and the umpire was terrible and called one out of the zone, and that's it. But he has thrown 1 strike. 1 pitch has gone into the strike zone by Kirby Yates. Jackson Merrill is up with the bases loaded and 1 out, and the guy on the mound has thrown 1 pitch in the strike zone. First pitch is at Jackson Merrill's feet, and he fouls off a splitter on the first. I mean, bro, take a pitch. Take 1. If you take a pitch and it's right there, fine. Like, you should be able to be. We know Jackson Merrill's a dog in the box. We know he can hit almost anything. Take a pitch. He swings the first pitch. Strike 1. The winning run is on third base. A walk wins the game, and Kirby Yates can't throw strikes. Second pitch comes in, splitter, same location, right on the top of his feet. He swings again, and he fouls it off. He's still yet to throw 1 in the strike zone. He has thrown 1 total pitch in the strike zone in the entire inning. Pitch number 3 comes in. It's high out of the zone, and with 2 strikes, of course, got to try to protect. Winning runs on third base. Jackson Merrill swings and misses. He's down in 3 pitches. Not one of those pitches is in the strike zone. After they walked Manny, and after Kirby Yates walked Ty France, and after he threw 1 pitch in the strike zone, there's now bases loaded with 2 outs, and Kirby Yates has thrown exactly 1 pitch in the strike zone. Then Xander Bogaerts comes up. Okay, he actually sees a couple of strikes. I mean, it's really remarkable. First pitch in there for a called strike. That is the second pitch that Kirby Yates has thrown that has been in the strike zone in that inning. Pitch number 2 was fouled off in the zone. Okay, Kirby Yates has now thrown a couple of strikes. Pitch number 3 comes in. It's a little bit high, but Xander's got a battle. That's fine. Okay. Pitch 4 is nowhere near the zone. And you know what? Xander Bogaerts actually hits that pretty well to straight center field. And unfortunately, that's all she wrote in the 11th inning. That was the ball game right there. That was the ball game right there. It was the at-bat by Jackson Merrill following the 2 walks and being unable to get the winning run in from third base. Now, they did steal in that inning. I mean, Fernando and Manny advanced before the walk, which I thought was a little dangerous. It worked out. I don't necessarily know if that was the greatest approach. But you know what? The Padres want to be aggressive. I'm fine with that. That's part of the aggressive nature. Fernando almost slid off the base, but that's neither here nor there. Fernando. But at that point, that's the game. I mean, there's only so many times that you can rely on your bullpen, and you've already used your top arms in the bullpen to go out there and prevent a team like Pittsburgh, who has actually done a really good job this year in scoring runs and hitting the ball. It's going to be hard to keep them off the board. So you got a runner on second. Nick Gonzalez leads off with a single. He's got one of the top 10 averages in Major League Baseball, off of Jeremiah Estrada, who's been okay, kind of trending towards since he came back from the IL. He hasn't been one of your most reliable relievers as of late. He gives up a single, and that's all she wrote. I mean, I credit Jeremiah Estrada to keeping it just to 1 run. And then you go strikeout in the bottom of the 12th inning, and you end up losing the game. But I thought that game was lost in the 11th inning. You had opportunities in other parts of the game. Yes, when you start adding things up, of course, you're going to get to that. But that game was lost in the 11th inning by just not having team at-bats, and we've seen this team do that, and Jackson Merrill had a really bad at-bat. It's probably an at-bat that he knows was bad. Okay, he probably looked back at the pitches he got and looked at the zone and is probably kicking himself. Okay, I don't want to speculate, but I would imagine, with the competitor that Jackson Merrill is, he's probably pretty upset about that. Padres finished 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position last night. I mean, not great. Okay, overall the game wasn't very good. One of the worst kind of games that you would have. But I think you could view it both ways. One, that was frustrating, and you could have gained ground on the Phillies, and you could have separated yourself more from the Diamondbacks. That's what you're hoping for. But at the same time, it's not a super killer loss if you can handle business the next 2 days. And we'll see what the Padres do against Paul Skenes, who hasn't been doing as well as of late. Okay? This is kind of the games that happen sometimes for Major League Baseball. But Merrill's last couple of at-bats were not good.
His last 2, because he had the same type of at-bat in the 8th inning. Bases loaded, 2 out. Jake has already pushed the run across, and he strikes out on 3 pitches. One of them was right down the middle. One of them was low at his shins, swung and missed. Fouled off a pitch, middle. Fine, you swing at that. And then he swings at a fastball up at his eyes. You don't need a walk is just as good as a hit in that position, in that scenario. You can't, and that's also what's very confusing, because if they would have lost that game in 9 innings, 2-1, it's just, okay, offense didn't show up. Robbie Ray wasn't bad, but he did give you a chance to win, only gave up 2 runs, is what it is.
You're going to take that out of starters any day of the week.
Offense just had a bad night. But for how it happened and how the Padres have just been rattling off games and wins thanks to situational awareness and situational hitting, for them to revert back to the May-June Padres as far as situational awareness, that was jarring last night. That's a game that they would have had won at any other point in the last month since the All-Star break. And just for whatever reason last night, it just was not clicking.
Yeah, and Kevin Acee labeled as like a maddening loss. That is a maddening loss. I mean, these are some of the ones that stack up where it makes the difference between. I don't think that loss is going to be the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. I think this is a playoff team, but I think that's one that hurts in the sense of like that could be the difference between hosting a playoff series and having to go on the road. We talked about this last year. I mean, the trajectory of this team right now and how they're playing, they're making things interesting in the standings. And we've talked about it before with, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that the Padres can catch some of these teams. Even though Philly had been playing really well, they finally got cooled off last night in Seattle. They could potentially catch Atlanta. I mean, they're only a couple of games back. I don't think the Cubs are going to catch Milwaukee. Chicago's got some tough games coming up, and the Padres have made some ground on Chicago. And these are the type of wins, or should I say, these are the type of games that you fall flat on, that at the end of the year, when you miss out on potentially being the 4 seed by 2 games, you can look back to this and be like, this is a game we could have won. The games in Atlanta are games you could have won. The game in Kansas City is a game that you could have won. I know you could do that every year in Major League Baseball, but these are the differences between hosting a playoff series and not hosting a playoff series. And this is the difference between potentially making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. So as of right now, it doesn't, you didn't move your position in the standings. You weren't going to move into the 5th spot if you won. You weren't going to you didn't drop out of the playoffs because you lost, but you could have distanced yourself a little bit more from Arizona. It was a missed opportunity to capitalize and steal a win after what you had a great performance out of Jake Cronenworth, aside from the bunt attempt in the 11th inning. But he kept that game alive multiple ways. And it stings too. Like, they were unlucky at the plate a handful of times throughout the game. But this is what I'm talking. It's taking care of the little things and stuff that you can control. Having just a better at bat there by Jackson Merrill in any of his 2 last at bats. And this is a different outcome, probably.
His last 3 at bats, because the one that he had in the 6th inning, I think, he lines out on a pitch that's not on the plate, that's in on his hands. I mean, the strikeout with the bases loaded, I thought was bad. Him swinging out of his shoes, especially with 2 walks in front of him. I know on the scoreboard it wasn't going to show that it was basically 8 pitches in a row. But when you break it down, look, it's hindsight. Like, I don't know how much of the iPad they're looking at before they get up there. But if he's in the dugout and they can track where the pitches are going, and I don't know how fast the data collects down there. I mean, you should be like seeing where these guys are and what they're swinging at, because he had not thrown a strike. He had thrown 1 strike up into that point. And it was the one that Ty fouled off. The other 2 strikes were a bad call by the umpire and a pitch that Jake Cronenworth tried to bunt that was way out of the zone. Those are the only 3 strikes that he threw in that inning before Jackson got to the plate. In terms of pitches actually in the zone, Kirby Yates had thrown 1 strike in the zone, yet Jackson swings out of his shoes on the 3 pitches that he saw. Just a bad at bat that ends up costing the game. Now, he's not the only reason why they lost. There's a lot of factors that play into it. Missed opportunities early in the game, mistakes made by Robbie Ray. Collectively, you win as a team, you lose as a team. But that was the big moment right there, where the game felt like you could have stole one back from Pittsburgh on a Monday and start the season off right, or series off right. We're going to talk more about the game when we come back. Obviously, we had brief thoughts about yesterday's press conference with the new owners. We're going to talk about that as well. Play some of the clips if you missed any of them from yesterday's press conference. We got a lot of Padres baseball to get to. We're just getting started on a Tuesday. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
10:25 on a Tuesday. All right. Just getting rolling. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Summer Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. Elimination game right now in Little League World Series. Mexico's down 2-0 to Japan right now in the bottom of the first. We're talking a lot about yesterday's game. Just to focus on Jackson Merrill because he's been he's been Jekyll and Hyde for the season. I agree with the YouTube chat, 394 Ron. I mean, at this point, like, they have to know that Jackson Merrill's, like, the scouting report on him is don't ever throw him a strike. I mean, would you ever throw Jackson Merrill a strike?
In a high leverage situation? Absolutely not.
In any situation. I mean, right now, the guy is swinging out of his shoes on almost every single at bat. You know, and most of the time when he does damage is when the pitchers make a mistake over the heart of the plate. I mean, I wouldn't throw him a single strike because even if he hits a ball outside the zone, it's not going to be, it's not going to have a lot of damage on it. I mean, it's not going to help him out at all. I mean, to me, I would throw nothing in the strike zone. I mean, he struck out twice with the bases loaded and chased all 5 pitches outside the strike zone during his 2 3-pitch strikeouts. I just think that's something that I think that's something they could fix. I really do. But yesterday was tough in that spot. It was tough in that spot. 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position, also pretty tough. I mean, I'm not worried about that as much just because, and I've heard it from Tony so many times, you're more concerned about getting runners in scoring position than not executing with runners in scoring position because the more chances you get, the more likely you're going to break through eventually. And so creating chances is the biggest problem. If you're not creating chances to have at bats with runners in scoring position, that's more of a problem than not just getting hits with runners in scoring position. But the bunting was bad yesterday. The runners in scoring position was bad yesterday. And Jackson Merrill in high leverage spots was bad yesterday. And yesterday was just kind of a frustrating game. Pitching did their job. I mean, Pirates didn't score for 5 straight innings with Yuki Matsui, Kyle Hart, Mason Miller, Adrian Morejon. All kept the game tied. And even like you mentioned before with the starting pitching, I saw a lot of people like upset about Robbie Ray. It's like, look, man, the guy walks people. Like everybody knows that about Robbie Ray. He's going to walk people, but you're looking for starters right now to keep you in games, and he gave you an opportunity to win. I mean, he held a Pirates team that usually scores a lot of runs to 2 runs yesterday. Your offense, the way they've been hitting, needs to be able to do some damage. I mean, yesterday was more of an offensive problem than anything else, but you're going to see games like that. This team's not going to be perfect by any means, and just kind of like completely, just kind of finish up this on-field stuff. Okay, like yesterday was a frustrating loss. It's not a season-defining loss. This is one of those losses now because the Padres have played a lot better. Where you go, we'll get them tomorrow. That's kind of how I look at it. But they got to be able to fix these problems, especially when you get these situations late in the games in the postseason. That's the only really concerning thing. They got to be able to find ways to execute, and they got to get Jackson Merrill to be a little bit more patient, especially when the pitcher is not throwing strikes, not only to Jackson, but to anybody in that last inning.
Yeah, and again, like I said in the first hour, yesterday's loss, if you lose 2-1 in 9 innings, that's baseball, Susan. It's a simple loss. It's just that happens. It's once you tie the game, once you miss opportunities bunting twice with 2 guys that in 2 positions where you would be bunting. And funny enough, Sungwoo Song, probably one of the better bunters on the team, who you could have really used last night. The guy who bunts into a double play is the guy who replaced him on the roster. That's what drives you nuts about last night's game. You had a chance to steal that game twice. You shut them down in the 10th. You shut them down in the 11th inning. All you have to do is sack bunt and find the outfield. That's all you have to do, and the game is over. And you couldn't get it done. It went from that's baseball to wow, did we miss a big opportunity there?
The Mason Miller situation too, fans are always, because it didn't work out. Like Go Aztecs, he said in the Twitch chat, and he understands why they did it, but he'd rather save the arm. What would you save the arm for? So like, if you're tied going in the 9th inning, you're just not going to use them then.
Again, the top of the 9th inning is the last opportunity you get to use Mason Miller.
Right. He's never going to pitch in a save situation unless he's just talking about saving his arm for the next day. But I mean, what are you just going to have him rot back there if you're like going deeper into a game? I mean, could you imagine them losing and then you never use Mason Miller? I mean, fans would be furious, right? They'd just be like, why aren't we using this guy to try to get a win? I would rather just use him in that situation. I know it's different for closers, but to me, when you got a guy like Mason Miller, you know, he's got to probably put up to 0. Maybe they actually get a hit every once in a while. I mean, like, all right, you got to sweat through it. But I am way more confident in Mason Miller than I was with Robert Suarez last year. I mean, at this point last year, how many saves did Robert Suarez have already blown?
And it was also the same thing in 2024. In August and September, Robert Suarez started to fall off, and he was starting to do the same thing around this time last year as well. He was very, very good in the opening salvo of the season, but then as it got later and later, he started throwing more and more innings. He became less and less reliable. Suarez being.
Yes. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. We had about a minute left. We do have some people on hold. We're going to get to you when we come back on the other side. But, you know, overall, I felt like, you know, the bullpen and pitching staff did their job. Offense got a little unlucky, failed to execute in other spots. But the biggest takeaway, of course, was, you know, try not to get that big swing. Sometimes you don't need that big swing. And Jackson definitely is back on the downtrend of this up and down year that he has had. But when Jackson's firing all cylinders, though, I mean, he's a big reason why this team is in the position they're in right now on the positive side. He's still learning. I mean, this is like his second full season in Major League Baseball, because last year had a lot of injuries. So, but he's going to, I have full faith he's going to be able to figure it out, but he's aggressive. He wants to hit. He wants to make big plays. Unfortunately, that kind of hurt the Padres last night. He needs to be a little bit more patient at the plate in some of those high leverage situations. When we come back, we'll get your phone calls and we'll start breaking down what was said yesterday in the energy that was the press conference yesterday. It was the most exciting press conference that we've covered here, at least that I have felt like I have covered. And we'll talk more about that when we come back. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, setting us on Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. All right, I found out, by the way. So now this is, I didn't realize this. Now, when you got a family member that's a teacher at the school, you now know some of the ins and outs of like when our kids infiltrate the YouTube chat.
Uh-oh.
They're doing it from their iPads, right?
Uh-huh.
Here's the thing. I didn't know that, like, when you go, because they're all school-issued iPads.
Yeah, I would make sense that they're all, like, on one network.
Well, I know they're all on one network, but, like, when they go into a classroom, that teacher has a screen in front of them that has all of the kids' iPads on it, and it shows their screen at all times. And so you could go in there and just go, bang, locked,
nice,
locked. I love that. If I was a teacher, I'd be locking iPads all day long. I'd just be like, "Oh, is that your camera out? Bang, locked."
Here's
is that the
where
Braden Surprenant Show? Now you're good. Are you watching film in class? Locked.
Is that the Braden Surprenant Show on a separate tab while you're doing your work? I would let that one slide.
They got
as long
it
as
in their headphones.
Yeah, as long as you're not like actively paying attention to it, I would be fine with that. Like if you have it on, you're giving us the views, which we thank you very much for. But if you're doing your schoolwork while you have it on, I'd have to give that a pass.
Juan goes, who would lock the Braden Surprenant show? My sister would. That's who. She was like, nope, bang, locked. Pay attention in forensics class. Is that Frank Marchese on your screen? You're good. I mean, I would have so much fun on that with teachers. I told a couple of my players that they had no idea. And I'm like, yeah, be careful what you like look at and watch on your iPad, dude. Your teachers have every. It's like, does that mean my teacher knows about when I use chat in class?
Yes.
They're like, yeah,
dummy.
Probably. And then one of the other kids the other day was like, so that's why I couldn't use my iPad when I logged in the chat. It immediately shut down.
Son of a gun.
Locked. Pay attention. Locked. If you're doing your your defensive installs, sure, good. You're learning something. I like that.
Like I said, as long as I would give it a pass, as long as you're doing your work. Like if you have that on a separate tab while you're actively focusing on your work, I'd have to give that a pass.
They're not allowed to have their phones at school.
Makes sense.
Cathedral's like a no phone school now, which actually they've had a lot of success with that. Like
Good.
Kids aren't on their phone and they're all interacting with each other and they're actually having like physical conversations.
Wait, they're normal people?
They're actually like normal people, which is like awesome. The kids actually like not having their phones. So there's no, let me put my phone underneath my desk as I have my iPad. There's no phones allowed anywhere. So I think that's all good. But I learned that. So when these guys are on their little iPads and they're wreaking havoc, the teachers know what they're doing. All right. So that's on the teacher too. All right. You know what? We've done everything we can to try to prevent some of the smack talk in the YouTube chat. We've done a pretty good job of that. Haven't seen them as much.
What's the start of the school year? You're trying to make a good impression.
Well, we had them in the day, their second day of school. They were on there. That must have been before they fired up the I forget what it's called. It's like Apple something assist where you can view everybody's iPad and what they're on. Oh my God. There's a stuff like there it's banned all the time because when I get to school, I have their Wi-Fi stuff hooked up on my phone and my laptop. Wi-Fi completely shuts down Twitter. If I want to look at anything that's going on X, I can't do it on Cathedral's Wi-Fi. That gets shut down immediately.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that is one thing. What we have Bill Aztecs, his work shuts down YouTube. That's why he's on Twitch.
I have what's it called? My senior year was the first year with the iPads, which I thought was kind of dumb in general. Like giving a bunch of high school kids iPads and no textbooks and thinking they were just gonna use them for class. Put your phones away. I know that's distracting. Here's a gigantic version of that as I hand that to you. Make sure you pay attention. But I was a senior. I was already in college and stuff like that. So a lot of my friends during March Madness, everybody's iPad had a different game on. You were not paying attention on the March Madness Thursday, Friday opening week. I wasn't watching any. I'm not paying attention in class. But there was a game back then, and people still play it now. But that was when Clash of Clans was popular.
Yep.
And so the football team had everybody was playing Clash of Clans in class. And our offensive line coach at the time, Coach Neese, was the tech guy at Cathedral. Mm-hmm. And he hated that game. He thought it was the dumbest thing ever. But a lot of the teachers were playing it and were in clans with the students and stuff like that. And it was a huge thing. And he said the first game that you guys don't win by 35, which was running clock, I'm shutting that down. He's like, that's just what it is. So when everybody loses Clash of Clans, because he had the ability to shut down any app he wanted, as soon as you guys don't go running clock, I'm shutting it down. Because he knew eventually we weren't going to do that. We had a tough schedule and stuff like that. First couple of games, running clock, didn't get it. Our defensive coordinator was like, yo, what's going on? I'm like, that's not working. Offensive line coach is like, nope, should have won by 35. Whole school was mad. I hadn't played that game since. Everybody had their little their little Clash of Clans game, and that's why it was funny. I saw that an ad for it a couple of years ago. I'm like, that game still exists. People still play that game.
Yes, it does.
833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Kevin in Chula Vista. Kevin, what's going on?
Goodness gracious, guys, it's hot out there. And it's a good thing we're not students in school these days with all these gizmo pads and this pad and what pad.
He's calling it gizmo pad. Gizmo pad.
Gizmo pad, whatever the hell they call it these days.
You're like my uncle, Kevin. You're going to call Facebook face plant? That's a pretty good one.
That's a good one.
Face plant. He calls it face plant.
Ice plant, whatever plant. I mean, gummies. I don't know. I don't get it. But, we didn't have this problem. Mental health was a lot better back in the day, let me tell you. These poor kids now with all of this stuff, and I know for sure because I come from the education profession, there's a downside to all of this too that's not getting talked about enough. But that's another story for another day. Two things. Go back to Jackson Merrill. You're absolutely spot on. If it's blatantly obvious to us sitting at home and you guys watching that this guy is absolutely getting worked and schooled. I mean, I'm wondering where in the hell is the coaching staff that should have had this dealt with by now? Because clearly what Jackson, and I know he feels bad. I know he wants to be the hero. And that's the problem. I think you've got a hero syndrome going on mentally that he is not corralled yet to understand the moment and the situational circumstances when it's blatantly obvious what these pitchers are doing to him. And what he did last night was displayed that he still has yet to graduate to another level. That's the way I see it. And I blame some of that on the staff. I don't know what they're saying or not saying, but this should have been corrected by this time of the season. So I'll leave that where that's at. Wanted to talk about Kwanza Jones. Is she not just a spark plug you've ever heard? I mean, my God, I want to go through the wall after listening to her. And I know some people have got a problem, Braden, because, she was high-spirited and she was, one person said she sounds like she's over the top. That's what this city needs. I want to take one other point here. God bless Peter Seidler. I get it. But factually in Padres history, there's two other owners that deserve as much notoriety and respect, because without them, there would be no Peter Seidler and Petco Park. That would be Ray Kroc for saving the Padres back when they were on their way to D.C. Without Ray Kroc spending what he did and bringing in the free agents that took them to a World Series, and the same thing with John Moores and Larry Bucchino that built Petco Park that took them to a World Series, Peter goes down in about third place. We have still yet to get to a World Series. I appreciate everything that the Seidlers have done, along with Ron Fowler. But factually and historically, it cannot be argued nor replaced that without Ray Kroc and without Moores and Lucchino, there wouldn't be a need for Kwanza Jones and Jose Feliciano or Peter Seidler. Wouldn't be possible.
Appreciate the phone call, Kevin. I agree with the spark. I mean, Kwanza Jones, we're going to get to that in the next hour. I thought it was infectious. There's a lot of haters out there. They're like, it's cringe. I can't believe it. It's like, come on, man.
It's just,
I thought you actually got to see, it didn't, there's so many times when you get like owners and, it's just like, and you deal with people that have enormous wealth and they try to like be, like that, Steve Buscemi, hey, how you doing, fellow kid? Like trying to like relate. And it's just like, this guy's so fake. I thought Kwanza Jones was like the most, she seemed genuine. Like she seemed like so excited to be an owner of an MLB team. She was so excited to get a jersey. She was so excited to make this hers. And like, this doesn't take away, like Jose Feliciano was a little bit more stoic, a little bit more like calm and not, but like you got to see her excitement and you don't see any owners like that. Yeah, they're always like, they're always got their like suit on, and they're always like, we're gonna try to win here. We're gonna do the best we can to try to win, and like it's like, you know. But I thought Jose Feliciano was reserved, which I think is great. But when you think about owners, you want an owner that's excited to own the team, that wants to use it, treat it like a toy, right? I mean, the people that can buy these teams, these are like toys to them. They're not buying these teams to, help their portfolio out. Maybe they are. I mean, there's benefits to it as well. But when you have like the best owner you want for a sports team is somebody that has a lot of money, obviously, that wants the team to do very well and win, okay? And treats it as such, as it's like a little fun a little toy that they have. And right now, based on how we heard the owners for the first time, I mean, they were so passionate to be here. And look, like, people were giving them crap, like, unless they live here, like, they don't actually care about us. It's like, you're just trying to find things to be upset about. Hey, they're in the process of doing it. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, where would you rather live? If I had that much money, I would totally live here in San Diego. I would go live in Del Mar or something. Coronado. I mean, there's so many places they could live. Eventually, they're probably going to move everything here. But Kwanza you could tell that it wasn't an act. You could tell that she wasn't, trying to be somebody that she wasn't, right? You can tell that she was just being herself, and she was excited to be here and excited to own a baseball team. And she loves baseball, and Jose loves baseball. She was a college athlete. Okay. Like, having a former college athlete be your owner too. I mean, she understands what it's like being on a team. She understands what it's like to compete. She understands what it's like to, what it takes to win to an extent, right? I mean, you couldn't ask for somebody better for this situation than Kwanza Jones and Jose Feliciano. And I think Kwanza kind of like stole the show yesterday because of how fun and energetic she was, as Jose was reserved. But they're excited to be here. And we're going to talk about this in the next segment, in the next hour. Kevin Acee talked about it. I mean, they reportedly are going to be the Padres, the first Padres owner. Like, this is the most wealth that a Padres ownership has ever had. I will read the direct report from it, but based on what people are saying and obviously the finances, there has been no owner that has had as much money as these two have. And they want to win, and they want to put it into the team. Now, I thought they did the right thing of saying, like, we're going to, spend about our means, which I think is fair, because I also don't think, just spending money to spend money is never the course of action either. Look at the Mets. They just spend money to spend money, right? There's organizations that do that and don't have success. Just because you throw a bunch of money around doesn't mean you're going to have success. You got to find the right kind of medium, and it seems like that is what you're going to get from Kwanza Jones and Jose Feliciano. We'll talk about that more in the next segment. But I thought it was infectious. I really did. I thought she was excited to be here, Frank.
No, yes, you could definitely tell that. She definitely was front and center yesterday as far as the press conference goes. And again, I would much rather that. I would rather her be herself, be eccentric, be that fun person, show who she truly is, instead of just sitting back, sitting behind Jose, and and trying to be what she thinks MLB owners are. She was herself, which was perfect for yesterday.
We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it when we come back. We're going to play some of the clips from the press conference and take a deeper dive from the new owners now, the San Diego Padres, when we come back in the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how he's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, live and locally each every day from 10 to 2 on Standing Room Sports Station 97.3. The Fan. Lots to get to still when it comes to Padres news. Of course, we talked about the on-field stuff from yesterday. Let's talk about the off-field stuff, and that would be the press conference stuff. Obviously, we were here live during the press conference, the introductory press conference of Kwanza Jones and José E. Feliciano. And with that, we have a lot of different talking points to get to of some of our reaction because, it went a lot later than I thought it would, just because of all the questions that were asked, just because of all of the, answers and stuff. And I mean, it was a big deal yesterday, not only for the Padres, but for the city of San Diego. In new leadership here with the Padres. And then they've now owned the team for 4 games, so 3-1 during those games. Obviously, last night didn't go their way, but it's okay. But just to kind of go back, and we're going to kind of break some of this down, and there's a lot of long clips in there. We don't need to get to every one of them, but I do want to get a couple of their opening statements here. But yesterday was a big day, I think, for San Diego, and we have a lot of reaction to what happened yesterday, but José E. Feliciano and Kwanza Jones were both introduced as now owners of the San Diego Padres. Here is what José E. Feliciano's opening statement was as now being the owner of the San Diego Padres.
Today is it's a dream come true. It's an amazing day for us, and we're very grateful, very honored to be here with you and to celebrate today as now the newest members of the Padres family. First, I would like to acknowledge and recognize and honor Peter Seidler. He has built a legacy here. He has left a legacy here that we're very proud of, and he has left this team, this club, this community, this city in an incredible place, and we were just lucky and very fortunate to be the stewards of that legacy. But of course, we want to move that forward. We want to create new memories and hopefully continue that legacy in a way that honors it and furthers it. I would be remiss if I don't thank a lot of the people that got us here or that helped us get here. So I would like to thank, first of all, again, the Padres organization, Eric, AJ, a lot of the Padres staff, employees, and team members, Commissioner Manfred, our fellow owners who voted unanimously for us. Thank you. We would like to thank, but most of all, we would like to thank the city and the fans. We understand baseball, we understand sports, and we understand that the Padres, this organization, is nothing without the fans. And we're here for you. We're here as part of this community. And we cannot promise that we're going to win. We hope that we're going to win. But we can promise that you're going to have our full dedication, engagement to try to make that happen. And hopefully, in our stewardship, which hopefully lasts for a very long time, we will have a lot more things to celebrate.
I think a lot of that obviously was stuff that you were expecting, but the first one for me on that was a dream come true. I mean, think about that. You could tell they were excited. You could tell they've accomplished something that they've always wanted to do. They've always wanted to maybe own a team together, and be together in this endeavor, and own a Major League Baseball team. And they got that opportunity. And like, think about everything that has to go right for people to get to that level. I mean, these two met each other at Princeton, right? They have a great education. In terms of like going to an Ivy League school and everything that they've accomplished, but a dream come true. Who knows how long they've dreamt about owning a Major League Baseball team, and the excitement they have of owning this particular Major League Baseball team. I think you can hear it in the way that José E. Feliciano described all that. Of course, he's got to throw in his thank yous and stuff like that, but I mean, he was more reserved than Kwanza was yesterday, and I think Kwanza showed off like her excitement and just the person that she is, which I thought was very infectious and exciting for a lot of people, and including myself. But even with Jose's answers, you could tell like this is a big deal for him. This is a special day for him.
Yeah, 100%. And he reminds me personality-wise kind of me. I don't go over the top and show excitement in that way. So I really related to Jose during that press conference of just, yeah, it's big, it's important. I'm going to be fully invested in this, but not trying to be anything other than who I am and explaining it and doing it the way that I'm going to do it.
Kwanza, of course, again, stole the show yesterday because she was just so excited and as Kevin Shulevitz said, kind of like you want to talk about a spark for an org. I mean, what a fun spark. But here's her opening statement again. You could just feel the excitement that she has.
When Jose mentioned I'm paraphrasing, thrilled and overjoyed and excited. Maybe those were my words. He said it with a little bit more reserve. I cannot even express it. It's very difficult for me to sit in my seat, but I'm going to stay here for just a minute because we've got to answer some questions. But I simply wanted to say thank you, because what happens, as you all know, and I say this often, no one succeeds alone. The Padres are not where we are. You see, now we're part of the family, so we get to say we. All those months when we couldn't quite say it yet, we're so excited now. We're not where we are without each other. We're not where we are without the leadership, without baseball operations, without the players, without the city, without the community, without the fans, without the front office, the back office, without the reporters and the press and the media. We need each other. And that's what Jose and I together have built a life on, understanding that it is together. And when we are all in, and you all heard the song as we walked in, we are all in. It's not lip service. Just as when you do the work that you do, and you do the work you do, and all of you all do the work that you do, we take it as a baseline that in everything everyone does, you're all in. And for Padres, we are. And we are absolutely committed to this organization, and we are absolutely overjoyed, and we understand, if you heard it, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win and win it all. We hope it's sooner rather than later. But again, I will keep it really pretty short. I do want to again thank not only the Padres team and organization that's here, I also want to thank some of our families and our friends and our family office and all the folks that work with us that have been part of this journey to even get us here, because it's a lot of number crunching and it's a lot of doing a lot of things to get us to this place. So again, just thank you all. Thanks to the Kwanza Jones and José Feliciano Initiative team. Thanks to the Supercharged team. And most importantly, thank you all thus far to Padres and San Diego and the Baja communities for welcoming us so much. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, she was stoked. Super excited. I mean, again, it was infectious, and, she's more than overjoyed to be here. and to be an owner of a Major League Baseball team. And I think it's exciting times. Now, a lot of this was about getting to know them. A lot of it is about, there's a lot of, you have coach speak. There's a little bit of owner speak in there as well. And you're not going to ever know. And you can't judge them on just the press conference. I thought it was a great start, though, to it. But this is something that you're going to have to, we're going to see what they have up their sleeve, in terms of spending money. I think, they obviously have a lot of assets. I mean, they have been involved with a lot of organizations. They have donated a ton of money. I mean, if you look at the Kevin Acee article from yesterday, Jose Feliciano is the co-founder of Clear Lake Capital, a private equity firm that manages approximately $145 billion in assets. He and Kwanza Jones also have been involved with major organizations, including the LA 28 Olympic and Paralympic Organizing Committee, Stanford Business School, UCLA Medical Center. I mean, their philanthropic initiative reportedly has donated more than $250 million to nonprofits focused on education, empowerment, entrepreneurship, equity. And, their Padres investment is their largest family investment ever. And the reported ownership stake is around 45%, with the group buying into the $3.9 billion valuation. And, they have the financial resources. They also said that they're going to live within their means, which is, I think, fair. I honestly, I would rather hear that, though, Frank, than them going we're going to spend and do whatever it takes to win. I just feel like every owner already says that.
Yeah.
I don't think them saying we're going to live within our means is a way of we're not going to spend money. I think it's a realistic expectation of what they're going to do to help this team win, more so than just being hey, we're going to spend whatever it takes to win. Like everybody else does, and then you feel a little bit disappointed.
No, exactly. I do very much appreciate that they kept everything, that they kept expectations realistic. They're high, but they're realistic. And that, I think, is probably the best way to have handled this.
I think it's the best way of the way that they said it was, I think, responsible aggression, because they say they want to win, right? They're competitive. And Kwanza Jones says multiple times how competitive she is. You're going to see how competitive we want to be and all that other stuff. Okay. So if they absolutely want to win, which I think they do, that's a lot better than owners that are trying to cut numbers to make a profit and are kind of half-assing it, like you see in a lot of other markets. So I like the fact that it's not, we're going to spend whatever it takes, because that also is not necessarily an answer. But they also did not say we're going to slash payroll. I mean, it's somewhere in between. I think they're a group that wants to win. I think they will continue supporting that goal. There will be times where they're going to be aggressive, and I think there's going to be some balance with that too. I mean, it's going to be balanced aggression with some long-term organizational health, and I think that's exactly what you want in an ownership group. It's somewhere in between. I really do. And, that distinction will become incredibly important, I think, for what happens here in the offseason. And I think you're not going to really tell until they start making moves and seeing the moves that they make, the extensions they may or may not make. I mean, it's all going to be judged on those types of moves more so than what is said in a press conference. And Jose even said that. I mean, it's there's going to be some criticisms. There's going to be some parts where they get some love. But at the end of the day, this was all about kind of getting to know them. And I didn't hear anything yesterday that was in a sense of this thing's going backwards to what it was before the Seidler family got here. I just don't think that to be the case.
No, not at all. And it was all very, very encouraging. Again, very realistic. You can feel the energy, especially out of Kwanza, and it really amped, I think, the fan base up for sure. And I think some of that amping up of the fan base may implement some unrealistic expectations from the fans' side of things. But other than that, everything I heard yesterday was positive. There was nothing that I heard, whether it be them discussing the baseball team or the community. There was nothing that I heard that would signal we got some problems here with this new ownership. It was all positive, all good, especially from the community side.
833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I do want to hear from both of them on their financial philosophy for the Padres going forward. They answered that question. I think you kind of gotten some of the ownership role and what it means to them, but we'll get to that as well. But do you want to get to your phone calls? Let's get out to Ron in La Mesa. Ron, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on?
Gentlemen, when did they teleport Kansas to Southern California? This weather is horrible. This is why I left the Midwest. Humidity sucks. And it kind of showed last night at the ballpark. The fans were kind of depressed. The players, everybody in Pittsburgh, they're used to this. But even our guys seemed to be a little sluggish last night. So it is what it is. Hey, Kwanza, back when I played football at Kansas State in the early 70s, our coach there, his name was Vince Gibson. He was from Shreveport, Louisiana. And his big thing is, we going to win. And that's all he said. So hearing that out of her yesterday, I hope it works out better than it did for K-State in the 70s because we suck. The other thing, guys, is I think Merrill is just young. His youth shows up in big situations sometimes, unlike his rookie year where it didn't seem to bother as much. I think he just wants to perform so well, and he'll figure it out. And we're still in a great spot, guys. I'm not too worried about anything. And last but not least, your iPad story, I got you one better, Braden. I'm house sitting at a PB, which doesn't suck, let me tell you. I'm on my way to work yesterday, and I get behind a Waymo, and I'm going, oh, my God, when did they come to San Diego? And I get up there, and this thing's got no passenger, no driver, and I'm like, oh, damn, I'm in the Jetsons. This is I can't even, I had to pass that thing before it blew me out of the water. I was waiting for it to transform into some transformer and just blow everybody out. All right, boys, we'll see you at the park.
Thank you, Ron. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. We got some good news and bad news that happened during the last segment. We'll get to that in just a little bit. I do want to go back to Merrill. Jackson Merrill, I kind of agree with the young thing because if you think about his rookie season, Frank, what is the one pitch that they always test rookies with early?
Breaking pitch outside.
Fastball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, fastball.
You always get tested on the fastball first. Always get tested on the fastball first. They kept testing with the fastball, make him beat the fastball, and he did. And you know what they were doing with said fastball? Throw it in the zone. Now they're throwing a bunch of crap all over the place to see if he swings, and that's exactly what he's doing. So I think it's part of the adjustment period to the league. He got on the league early. The league adjusted to him back, and now he's in the process of trying to adjust back to the league. And we've seen some ups and downs. And again, the guy's super young, and we're gonna see that for the next couple years or so. But I think he'll figure it out too. I agree with Ron. When we come back, we're gonna get more from Kwanza Jones and José Feliciano, some other things that they said that I want to mention. We got good news in the sports world for San Diego and some bad news in terms of the music world that just happened moments ago. We'll get to that when we come back. 11:23 on a Tuesday. Dolly Parton has now passed away at the age of 80. That was the bad news that we had. Came during the last segment, if you will. I know KSON is doing some tributes to Dolly Parton, the country music icon, who was just such a huge hit, obviously. Known for her curvy physique, massive blonde wigs, skin-tight outfits, and served her self-deprecating wit. She was among the most beloved personalities in music and beyond. Her celebrity whose appeal transcended generations, geography, and politics. Obviously known for her songs like Jolene, Coat of Many Colors, I Will Always Love You, totaled more than 100 million worldwide sales and more than 1 billion online streams. Just an infectious person. The queen of country, if you will, to the point where they even have, you go to Nashville, she's like all over the place, but also had like Dolly World and stuff like that. I know my sister's been to Dolly World a couple of times in Tennessee. But a sad day for a lot of people that love country music, love Dolly Parton. She passes away at the age of 80 today. So that was the bad news, if you will. Here and known about it. Again, we're a sports show, but we got a lot of music and stuff, and I know there's a lot of people that are Dolly Parton fans, so just wanted to pass that along. And she passes away at age 80 today, so tough one.
I think she had just missed an event because of a health-related thing, and sounded like there wasn't too much thought behind it, and now this is just, it's really, really sad day for sure.
Very much a legend. So definitely that's a bummer. Again, I know KSON's got more coverage on that than us. So when so that was the bad news. Now the good news for San Diego,
because there's no good way to transition from something like that.
No, I mean I'm not talk about Dolly Parton the entire time. The good news for San Diego fans, again with sports wise, because we said there was bad music news and good sports news. The good sports news is it's now official that NASCAR is coming back to San Diego. They sent the press release out, during the last segment as well. I mean, a lot of news just went down in the last segment, if you will. But the NASCAR is back in San Diego. It sounds like they're going to have another San Diego weekend. It sounds like everything's coming back except for the truck series, and we will see, whether or not this is going to be a recurring theme. But based on the press release, it sounds like this could be the last time that they're in Coronado, just because I think they want to move things around to other military bases when it comes to the street race. But pretty great to see that NASCAR is back.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun last year. This year, I'm sure this upcoming year, I think a lot of the issues will be addressed, because if it is the case, and I'm not entirely surprised that that they would be moving away from this and trying to spread the wealth out. There's going to be a lot of what was wrong last year will be fixed this year. And I have a feeling will be fixed this year, not just because of knowing what was wrong and how to fix it, but also if you are going to move this around, you also want to be ready and be prepared for all of the other locations that are going to get something like this as well. So I think this is going to be an absolutely fantastic weekend again, I think. And again, it's not too much of a loss as far as not seeing the truck series here, because again, that was
nobody got to see it anyway.
Yeah, that was only open to military anyway. But to see the O'Reilly series back here, that was a fantastic race. Best one of the weekend, I feel. And then the Cup race coming back it's going to be incredible for sure.
So the official press release says that NASCAR San Diego announced today that is re-enlisting for another tour of duty in 2027 after a successful sold-out debut in 2026. NASCAR San Diego weekend presented by Anduril will return with the NASCAR Cup Series and the O'Reilly Parts Series July 30th to August 1st at Naval Base Coronado. You will see NASCAR's finest once again. Sounds like they're going to keep the same Qualcomm circuit. They're not shortening it. Frank, I know that was one
of the things they had potentially discussed, but it does make sense if you are going to keep moving this event after this year. It also makes sense just to not put so much into making a new circuit and just going with the one that you had.
Yeah, so it's what we experienced this year, the incredible racing, the energy from our fans, and the partnership with the United States Navy and the San Diego community showed just how special this event can be, said NASCAR San Diego President Amy Lupo. We are grateful for the opportunity to build on that momentum, and we are fully committed to improving the experience for our fans. Together, we will create another unforgettable weekend, celebrates the San Diego region, NASCAR, and most importantly, the brave sailors who selflessly serve our country. Here's the part that I thought, and again, we'll see what happens with this, but NASCAR and the Department of War share a multi-year plan to continue hosting events beyond Naval Base Coronado. In 2028, NASCAR and the Department of War intend to take the military base street race to a different U.S. military installation, expanding the opportunity to celebrate and connect with service members, military families, and communities across the country. So that sounds like this is potentially going to go somewhere else after this year. Maybe I'm reading into that wrong. I know we're scheduled to have Mark Neville on, I think, later this week, to talk about some other things, but this is obviously something that's involved with Sports San Diego. But it's going to be Sunday, August 1st. The Cup Series street race will serve as the cornerstone event of the weekend. That will be broadcasted on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. That will follow the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series street race on Saturday, July 31st. Which is going to air nationwide on the CW and the ESPN app. Tickets for both events will go on sale at a later date, but given the incredible demand, fans are urged to visit NASCARSandiego.com now to register for pre-sale opportunities. So it's good that they're coming back. I think that's the best news. I thought it was a great event. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, 100%. And for what you said there about the about like a multi-year deal moving around, there is also very much a likelihood that they can come back. So they may go, but there's also a chance that maybe a couple years down the line, if they are going around different military bases across the country, there's also a high likelihood that one day they do return. So if that's the plan, fantastic, understandable. I'm selfish. I want to see it here all the time. But it's a great idea for sure.
We have more than just one military base here.
Yes.
I mean, they could be moving to Miramar and then Pendleton. Maybe those are the other two places.
They want to find a market in Southern California after they sold Auto Club again.
And then
finally.
Yeah.
In the world of news that we all knew, but weren't ready to hear.
Yeah, it's not fun. I find it interesting though, like if they, I doubt they would have multiple. I know they have a couple of road courses on the circuit, but there is no Southern California stop.
No.
And so even though they want to move it around, it could be a separate thing where they do have a San Diego race and it's just in Coronado, maybe. Maybe they have two military things. I can't imagine them having multiple street courses. It's kind of a fun one-off thing for probably a lot of the drivers. I'm sure the ones that do very well on road courses wouldn't mind seeing more of these. But yeah, I find it interesting. Maybe they'll go to other military bases in Southern California.
Yeah, it is a fresh market to be able to go into, and one that they keep trying to infiltrate. They had Fontana years ago. They had Riverside, which is now a strip mall because God forbid. They ran a couple years at the LA Coliseum, the non-points race at the beginning of the season. So they keep dipping their toes back into the Southern California market. And I think if this year is successful as last year was, I think they'll try to find a more permanent home. But yeah, if you talk about Southern California, Vegas and Phoenix are the two closest ones that get out here, and you can't even say Sonoma because it's a 12-hour drive up into Napa Valley.
Definitely not Southern California. Hey, look, maybe they go to 29 Palms. They're probably not going to 29 Palms in August. I can tell you that right now. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, we'll dive back into the press conference from yesterday and some reaction on some of the things that José Feliciano and Kwanza Jones said during their press conference. We'll get to that next. Broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how. No guests today, but they usually join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. We're going to get to the phones here in just a second. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We're going to talk football a little bit in the next hour. This is week 0 this weekend. First game of the year. My TCU Horned Frogs taking on North Carolina. Now, I will say this. I'm nervous about them completely laying an egg against a team that is an absolute circus. We have already done that multiple times in our existence. And they asked Bill Belichick yesterday, Frank, what's going on with your son? Is he going to be the DC? I don't know. That's what he said. We don't really know. There's not really an update on that. You guys understand you're going to Ireland very soon, right? Like, you should probably know if he's going to be your DC or not.
No, we're good.
Who's going to call the defense? He's not there. I don't want to discuss that. Okay, well. Come on, Sonny. It needs to be belt to ass the entire game. That game should not even be close. Just like completely beat the living daylights out of North Carolina and let me enjoy the first 2 weeks of college football, because here's how this works. If TCU wins, that's great. You want to know why? Because they're off the next week, and I can enjoy the big opening weekend of college football, Labor Day weekend, to the full potential. And I could just be a loaf and just watch college football day and enjoy every second of it, knowing my team is 1-0. If they lose, I might not even watch a game. I lied. I'll probably watch a game. But, like, they got to win big. I think the Frogs got to be able to win big in that game. I'm counting on it. I'm hoping for it. And then, of course, the next week is the big week of college football, and I can't wait to get to that point. We got to see if we're bringing Skylar back. The queen of college football. See if Skylar can come back and do well on some picks, getting ready for the college football season. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Haven't heard this man foul in a long time. Dexter in Spring Valley joins us on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Dex?
Hey, so it's really sad about Dolly Parton.
Yes.
But, she helped practically cure COVID on her own. You know about that, right?
No.
And she was a major investor in one of the vaccines.
Oh, really?
Yeah, major. We're talking like several $1 million. And no one knew about it until somebody dug it up. I guess they found it in the documents. I think it was. I don't remember. I believe it was Pfizer was the one that she invented, or Pfizer. I think it was Pfizer. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm really glad about the owners. I had a chance to go back and hop on the 97.3 fan YouTube channel to watch the press conference, and I'm really stoked because they bring a very vibrant energy, and I think they're the younger owners in the league too. And I think isn't Ms. Jones like one of the few female owners, if not the only female owner?
Yeah, I think so.
Which would be. Yeah, well, that would be awesome. So, they're committed, and they want to move down. I'm majorly stoked because that's a huge burden off. We've had our fair share of how unsavory owners and whatnot. We can remember the Roseanne Barr national anthem fiasco because of those owners. So, it's good to have owners that want to, continue us, build towards a championship. So I'm very, very stoked about that. But before I go, go Pods. And also, you guys are talking earlier in the week about the whole Laker, talk about ownership, the whole Buss family Laker thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Buss siblings are trying to throw Jeannie under the bus. So there's my foul. Catch you guys later. Go Padres.
He draws the foul.
I feel like, the ownership battle here is interesting. Especially with, and we haven't gotten into the Dodgers stuff yet. I did find it funny, like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I really don't care about any other team. I really don't. Not to the point where if I was like because I didn't have the chat live during the press conference. I wasn't looking at it because I just knew there was going to be hellacious takes during an entire press conference, especially with the new owners. I'm like, I don't want to read this. It's just going to make my brain rot. But apparently yesterday there was a lot of like Dodger fans in like the 97.3 chat, or even like, I guess because the Padres streamed the video on their YouTube, right, Frank? And I guess the YouTube chat was kind of filled with Dodger fans, like just going like nuts. You got nothing better to do on a Monday? Seriously. I mean, like, really? You got nothing better? No job? Like, I'm going to pull the Sebastian Maniscalco thing. No job? I mean, we're talking about like 1 o'clock on a Monday.
Read a book.
I mean, come on. Like, if the Dodgers, let's say, I mean, it's not even out of the realm of possibilities right now based on the way the Mark Walters situation is. But
Seeming like an inevitability.
Let's say, hypothetically, like they got new owners. I don't care who they are. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care what's going on up there. I don't. I don't even care about like teams that, look, you could say, well, the Padres aren't really, they're 9 games back, whatever it is. They haven't really competed with the Dodgers the last handful of years. Like, you should be worried about you. I could say the same thing about Arizona. I don't care. I don't care what the Diamondbacks are doing. It's funny that the Giants are a circus. I don't care what they're doing. I don't care what their new owner might be. I don't care what their new GM might be. I mean, we'll talk about some of that stuff on the show just because it's baseball news, but I don't really care. I mean, this like weird obsession that a fan base has with another team that they apparently are not rivals with is hilarious to me. It's like, bro, get a job, get a hobby, go do something, go to the beach. Like, I don't get the point in this. I really don't. It's dumb. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We even talked about the Mark Walters situation. I mean, Bill Plaschke had you can say what you want about Bill Plaschke. Okay? You ask somebody about Bill Plaschke, they usually have some type of take about Bill Plaschke. He wrote a column about this that was like very interesting.
Probably something we'll get to on Thursday since we'll be at the ballpark tomorrow.
Maybe get into it later on in the show today. Who knows? But Bill Plaschke wrote a very interesting column about the Dodgers and what happens with Mark Walter and what happens with, is Andrew Friedman going to stay? And if both of those guys leave, does Shohei Ohtani then use his opt-out to probably get more money on the open market? I mean, could you imagine that situation, Frank? I mean, Dodger fans are just like, no, he's not going anywhere. We're the greatest org. Everybody likes to play for us. Well, is everybody going to want to play for you? Because, like, think about from the perspective of, like, the guy that's, like, currently owning the team needed to be, like, taken, like, he's moving all this money around all over the place to keep that thing functioning. You're going to tell me that whoever is next up to potentially buy the Dodgers is just going to be able to just write blank checks like they've been doing right now? I mean, they're going to be almost like, the cash poor after buying a team like that with all the assets they have. And then they're going to spend, and then they're going to spend all this money. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a way out for Shohei Ohtani to just be like, deuces, I'm out of here. Somebody else could pay me a ton of money. That's not going to be cash poor. And they could build a team around me. And then what's going to happen with it? Because think about this. If they go up for sale, they got a lot of money in deferred money on the books in the future. Is it worth it for the 2 World Series? Probably. But that's an interesting article that we got to dive into. That's all I got to say about that. We're going to get into that later on, maybe this week. We do need to get to what's going on in the sports world as of today. It's time to get to today's sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what we got going on in the sports world today?
We have the fun story that we didn't start off with yesterday because we were waiting for more information.
Number 1.
San Francisco 49ers owner Jed York pleaded no contest yesterday to 2 misdemeanor charges stemming from his arrest in Ohio on suspicion of engaging in prostitution. Good job, buddy. According to court records, York responded to an undercover online advertisement and allegedly arranged to exchange $140 for explicit activities before being arrested at the meeting location. As part of the plea agreement, the prostitution charge was reduced to disorderly conduct, while York also pleaded to possessing criminal tools. That's interesting. He paid
Did you look up what that was?
Nope. He paid one.
It's not what you think it is. Like, they looked it up on the morning show. It could be like, the flashlight on your phone could be a criminal tool.
Okay.
Anything that like a screwdriver in his car, it could be a criminal tool. It's very vague.
He paid $1,150 in fines and received 1 day in jail on each charge, with both days considered served because, of course, the Niners called it a legal matter that has been resolved.
He sat there for 2 days. That's why it's
okay.
They counted those.
He was in jail. That's
in Ohio for 2 days.
Okay, then that's fine. The Niners called it a legal matter that has been resolved. I'm glad you
approve of the guy's punishment.
Well, good.
Let's ask Frank. Hold on, Frank. Does Frank Marchese in San Diego agree to this?
You should. It will review it under the league's personal conduct policy. York has been the team's CEO since 2008 and majority owner since 2024, overseeing 3 Super Bowl appearances and construction of Levi Stadium. The NFL has a personal conduct policy for players, coaches, and owners, but should the league hold an owner to the same standard as everyone else? And if the NFL determines discipline is warranted, what should be an appropriate punishment?
I don't know about that. I think this is more of a story about, like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Regardless, what's the NFL going to do? Like, suspend him? Like, fine him? I mean, he already got, like, he got his, punishment for the $1,000 fine and the 150, like, the disorderly, all that stuff. Like, whatever. That'll be handled in court. But, like, do owners ever get punished, really? What do you do? Not be able to watch their team? I mean, it's a very gray area. Let the courts handle, like, that side of things. I mean, this guy, I know he's from Ohio. This guy just filed a divorce with his wife in May of this year. And he is caught trying to pay for prostitution for $140 in East Palestine, Ohio? I mean, it was in like a trailer park in East Palestine, Ohio, that has a population of 4,700 people. This guy's worth billions of dollars. He is the owner of an NFL franchise. Like, there's other means for this guy to get what he is looking for. Like, a lot other means. When you're driving through, through Youngstown on the way down to East Palestine, Ohio, and you start rolling into this trailer park, which is not in a nice part of town, for $140. I mean, as you're like rolling through there, you're not like having second thoughts, Jed? I mean, come on, dude. Like, what? I mean, rich people, like, they amaze me all the time. I mean, like, what? It's the same thing with, like, what's his name? Kraft with the Patriots. $140? I mean, like, the risk reward, my guy. Like, really? This is just such a crazy story. So the guy files for divorce in May, and then he gets arrested a couple of months later for suspicion of engaging in prostitution for $140.
It cost you,
East Palestine, Ohio.
It cost you $1,150 for $140 of activities that you didn't even get to appreciate.
The guy can literally go to any place on the planet and just be like, I own the 49ers. Like, you know what I'm saying? He could go on a European vacation. I own the 49ers. I mean, like, what? It's baffling to me. Noon lunchtime hour when we come back. New lunchtime hour on the Fan. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. Static Number One Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. All right. I started to watch some of the Jeff Passan's got an hour on this Dodger thing. Started to watch, like, he's breaking down the deal, the TV revenue and all the money. You start adding the money up of like the money they're supposed to be paying in revenue sharing and what they're actually paying. I mean, it's like criminal. I mean, it's obviously not criminal. It just feels like that. I'm just using it as a phrase. But just like, again, it's funny that these national writers, Frank, continue to tell me how everybody can do what this team is doing, yet they have all these rules that allow them to like not have to follow any of the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Special rules for special fools.
Yep.
Yeah. Mainstream media finally getting the TV deal situation figured out. I can't wait to see what happens with this. We're going to talk more about this later on when we can like fully dive into this. Because every time you think like, here's my honest opinion about the Mark Walter situation. You ready for this? I think this is going to end up being nothing. Like, that's my gut feeling. It's obviously nothing, but my gut feeling every time is like, all right, well, the guy he's doing some stuff that the federal government doesn't really want him doing when it comes to insurance companies, right? By using the investments for the insurance company, investing in his own properties. There's rules around this. I'm sure there's a lot of play like this around business, if you will. I'm sure like I forget the people that have to like monitor this. I'm sure they miss a lot of this all the time. Okay. So it's not super crazy. Okay. But I really think you have to take the Padre glasses off and just be like, okay, let's not think that this is going to completely crush this organization. But every time, but now, Frank, I mean, it's just more and more comes out every single day where you're like, oh, and it's like, it's almost like the conspiracies start to come true in like real time with this situation. Now, there's just more and more juicy information when it comes to this Mark Walter story as the days go on. We're going to have more of it for you on Thursday, but like my gut feeling is like, it's not going to impact. They're going to find out that it wasn't all just this funding the Dodgers. That's my gut reaction. But now the more things that come out, the more I'm like intrigued. If I could do a one eyebrow raise, I'd be doing it. But that's how I feel about this situation, Frank. I feel like we see these play out, and usually there's not as much to it as a lot of people want to say, but there's just more and more information coming out about this.
I've never thought that Mark Walter is going to face any sort of like legal scrutiny or anything like that. Like, I don't think he's going to jail or anything. I do think, though, that this could end with him completely out of sports entirely. Him losing the Sparks, which I'm surprised he hasn't sold yet. Him losing the Dodgers, him losing the French soccer club that he owns. I think it could come down to him losing all of his sports assets. I don't think he's going to be criminally found liable for anything, though. Like, I've never thought that even from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I think a lot of people just assume that like when people have that much money, they'll never be found liable for stuff. But they're giving him a way to get out of the situation. I just don't know if he can. I don't know if he's got the capital to do it. But we'll keep you updated on that in as the week goes on. We'll talk about it on Thursday a little bit more. I do want to get back to some of the stuff that we talked about with yesterday's press conference. A little bit of a reset here when it comes to the Padres, and a couple of things that I want to play back on, on José E. Feliciano's comments as well as Kwanza Jones. But I do want to start with, what Jose's overall assessment is of the Padres organization. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I have so many clips here. I'm trying to.
Oh, yeah, it's always hard.
This is unbelievable radio. I know.
Yeah, great.
This is not.
It's a minute and 26 seconds if you're.
Yeah, no, I know that, but it's.
Oh, no. Did you delete that one?
No, I shouldn't have. I took it out of our file, like where I saved them.
All right. Well, Frank's working on that. Okay, there's a couple of things I also want to talk about.
Okay, I got it.
You got it? All right,
Yes,
here's Jose's overall assessment of the organization.
First time, no questions.
So first of all, I would just mention that, we have already experienced, kind of in the ownership of teams in some pretty significant leagues around the world. So we're not rookies from that perspective. We understand that. I think our first job is to learn a lot about the league, about the Padres, about the people in the organization. And I should say to learn and listen. Yeah. And then over time, I think we'll formulate, kind of obviously strong opinions about some things, and we'll defer to the experts and others. I think like any owner in any business, you must at some point, hopefully early on, establish a clear direction, clear goals. And then when we're deviating from that direction or goals, and at times life happens, you have to do that. We'll chime in. We'll provide additional direction and objectives. There'll be some decisions that will be intimately involved in the nitty gritty, and others that perhaps will delegate or be a little bit, kind of less intimately involved. But at the end of the day, kind of our job is to be good stewards of this team for this city and for the Baja communities, and to do that, with that long-term perspective that owners, multi-generational owners, need to have.
I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, how much insight did they get on how this organization operates? They probably did not get that much. I'm sure they were in communication, but they're going to want to see the everyday operations of this thing, at least to the end of the season. And then I think a lot of the moves are going to be happening in the offseason. I really do. I think that's when you're going to start to see some of this stuff. The other thing I thought was interesting was the financial philosophy for the Padres going forward. I think this is kind of around the time that they talked about spending among their means, but I think obviously when you get new owners, you want to know how much money they're going to spend, because I think a lot of Padres fans don't want to go back to what it was like before the Seidler family took over, which I think is a legitimate concern to have. But I think they're in good hands. But with this new ownership group, we'll see. Let's hear from both of them on what their financial philosophy is on the Padres.
I don't want to sound like the baseball executive here. We'll work with AJ. We'll work with Eric. We have been blessed with a team in a city that is supporting us in a way that is allowing us to invest back in that team, in the stadium, and that city. And we're committed to doing that. Mm-hmm. And again, I think we are going to live, within our means. And that could mean different things in different years. But again, we want to win. And we're going to continue supporting that goal in many different ways. And that means that at some moments, to use your phrase, we're going to be aggressive. Some people might look at that way, but we're always going to do it, kind of with keeping the long-term health of the team in mind. And I think those are things that we're going to balance, but we're thinking about this in not only next week or next series, we're thinking about this, in seasons, decades. And I think our commitment to this city and to this team is that we're going to continue to do that. And again, hopefully win along the way.
And then a quick follow-up, if you don't mind. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say the key thing to understand is that, and Eric, you said it, we are competitive. You don't get to do what we do unless you are competitive. And it's important for all of you all to understand that. We want to win. What does that look like? It may take a lot of different pictures, scenarios of what it could be. And and we will see. But please understand how competitive we are.
I think that's a good sign. I mean, I think this is something that they're going to invest in terms of like having success. I really do. I mean, they want to win. You know, I think a lot of people say they want to win, and I think you won't be able to fully address that until, you know, you start seeing some of the actions, Frank. But, you know, I thought the press conference went a lot better than I was anticipating. Not to say that they weren't going to hit out of the park, but I thought they were more genuine, and they came across more genuine than anything else.
I agree with that 100%. They showed who they really are. They weren't afraid of showing who they really were. And I think that hit as well as you could have imagined with most of the community, for sure.
They had a lot of other things about being part of the community. I think that matters a lot to them. You know, and you know, I think again the difference is, and everybody always gets so negative about some of these things, but the difference between them and other owners that are used, because everybody's in these are investments for everybody. The difference is they don't need the Padres to be successful, like for themselves to be successful financially. They've already made all their money. They've made tons of money. They're worth tons of money. They have, you know, Clear Lake Capital manages $145 billion worth of assets. This isn't like the Spanos family owning the Chargers back in the day where they were a real estate company and this was like their big cash cow product that they have, where they're not going to make their money until they sell it. These are people that have way more money. So this isn't everything is on the line with this particular organization. And as I know, as we know from just valuations of organizations, they're going to constantly go up in value. They do. I mean, you're going to see the next team sell. It's going to sell for another like just huge price. So it's a different level of investor. And that's why I said this could be the ownership group that takes the baton and goes to a different level. But at the same time, like, as much as people, want these guys to spend money, everybody complains about when the Padres spend money and it doesn't work out, right? I mean, you could be the Mets too. But at the same time, like, I feel like this is a group that wants to win and is going to spend wisely to win, and we'll see what type of aggressive moves that they make. But this is a different level of owner. This isn't Donald Sterling. This isn't Dean Spanos. This isn't those like cheap family run teams where that's the only thing that they own. This is a group that has a lot of different assets. Oh, and by the way, also own other sports teams like Chelsea. And what are they trying to do right now? Buy out the Dodgers ownership group like Mark Walter, who owns the other portion of Chelsea. And here's the other difference. Chelsea is owned by the Clear Lake Capital private equity group that José E. Feliciano is a co-founder of. This is owned by Jose and his wife, Kwanza. Like, they own this separate from their other holdings that are going to probably buy more of Chelsea. That's the big difference, Frank. I know a lot of people can't understand that, but there's a difference between the bigwig owners that you have now and the previous owners that the city of San Diego has had to deal with. And not all of them have been bad, but like, more importantly, the Clippers with Donald Sterling and the Chargers with the Spanos family.
Yeah, no, these guys, again, if you're willing to spend $3.9 million or whatever they spent on this team, if you're willing to spend that much money, you're not going to be cutting corners. You're not going to be doing this just to flip it a couple years on down the line. You heard what Kwanza said. You heard what Kwanza said for most of that press conference. They are competitive. She wants to win. You can hear that in her voice. Again, there are different ways of getting there. There may be a time where there is a teardown. There might be. But as long as the path is clear and the path is understandable, then you can go along for the ride. You're not going to like it if it does happen, but you can go on the ride. These guys have a very, very clear plan. They clearly have a plan on what they want to do for this team. And I think they really want it to succeed based off of what you said. They personally own it. It's their name on the ownership documents for this organization, not Clear Lake Capital the way it is with others.
I agree. It's a little bit different, right? It's a little bit different, with the ownership. And so like, it's to me, I think you got to be able to see the differences and not just immediately go, oh, they're rich, they're not going to spend money, or like they're not going to. I mean, all the excuses I've heard of why they don't like people don't like the new owners potentially, or like the negative people that think this team's just going to go into the like just downhill and they're just going to cut money. They just continue to like move the goalposts to just kind of prove a narrative that they're just miserable. Right? I mean, it's just like it doesn't really matter. I mean, I think within our means is exactly what you want a team to spend. I mean, if they just like recklessly start spending money all over the place and then it affects the team down the stretch, you can't just throw money and hope that everything's going to work out.
No, exactly.
I mean, the Dodgers spend a ton of money, but they invest in a lot of like reasonable things, right, Frank?
Yes.
I mean, they've used their money well. They've spent money on the right players. They have done what they've needed to do. They've had special rules, of course, but there's been a difference between the players that they've invested in and other teams.
Yes, 100%. And again, there's a chance, and a very good chance, I would say, that there's going to be a salary cap next year.
Potentially.
Right. There's potentially going to be a salary cap next year. So they're not going to be able to spend ridiculously on roster. That also means that there's potentially more money freed up for them to buy around the margins and get more ancillary pieces, like bulking up the scouting department, whether it be minor leagues or amateur or professional. Bulking up on medical, bulking up on the spring training facility. There's a lot of other things that they can spend money on other than just the product out on the field.
I think this team is. I liked the press conference from yesterday. I don't want to spend any more time on it. Obviously, I think people have their own minds and they've made up what they want to believe. And the thing is you're never going to know until they start making moves, and you're not going to see this ownership make moves until probably the offseason, right? So until that point, it's going to be hard to say whether or not, they're here, for the good, the bad, whatever. The product will determine, I think, a lot of that and some of the moves that they make, and everybody will have their own opinion on it. But at this point, I'm encouraged by what I saw yesterday in the press conference.
100%.
I think it's great. When we come back, college football. They are the gift that keeps on giving. It's usually circled around Lane Kiffin, and we got a couple of Lane Kiffin stories to get to when we come back. All of our guests join us on the STCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. It's opening week this week. Opening week of college football. And opening week on 97 to the Fan is presented by Hands-Free Skechers Slip-Ins. Just step in and go. We got a prize actually for our midday sports standoff. I haven't gotten to that in a while. We need a contestant for that. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. If you could take me down in some sports trivia, you would be qualified for a chance at our grand prize, a pair of VIP tickets to Leonard Skinner at Del Mar Arena on September 24th. Tickets at cbfproductions.com. All right. What did Lane Kiffin do this time? I feel like I have it in my open, and Frank did a good job of finding that clip so we could be in the open. College athletics and really college football is the gift that keeps on giving. We had some interesting things happen over the weekend and yesterday when it comes to news about Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. Anybody see the story about Lane Kiffin and what Ole Miss did after Lane Kiffin left?
It's so good. We saw that. I saw that like right as the press conference started yesterday.
Here we go. The Ole Miss Lane Kiffin divorce was apparently much more messier than it looked. Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss after the 2025 regular season to take the LSU job. He had just led Ole Miss to an 11-1 regular season record in its first college football playoff appearance. Ole Miss then promoted defensive coordinator Pete Golding immediately after Kiffin departed. Kiffin didn't leave alone. Offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr. went with him, co-offensive coordinator and tight end coach Joe Cox, wide receiver coach George McDonald, running back coach Kevin Smith, and general manager Billy Glasscock. Several assistants were allowed to return temporarily to Ole Miss so they could coach in the college football playoff. Now, the crazy part of that story, because none of that's really out of the ordinary aside from the fact that Lane Kiffin decided to leave from an 11-1 team going to the college football playoff to start recruiting for his new job at LSU. But Walker Jones, co-founder and executive director of the Grove Collective, which is like their big NIL collective, says Ole Miss had an FBI agent help search the football offices for possible recording devices after Kiffin left. Jones described being so concerned that he was literally getting on his knees and checking underneath his desk for bugs. No, not insects. Here's an important clarification, though. Ole Miss did not officially hire the FBI to conduct a bug sweep. Pete Golding said a current player's father happens to be an FBI agent and assisted with the search. Golding characterized it more as part of increased security surrounding the college football playoff. Jones confirmed an FBI agent was involved. Jones says Ole Miss was worried about losing players and information to LSU because so much of the coaching staff was moving to Baton Rouge. So they had two separate text threads. They had two different staff meetings. Coaches sometimes had to leave the room for meetings. They didn't want hallway conversations. They didn't want things written down. They didn't want information on grease boards. And the answer was because some of the people inside the building were about to become competitors at LSU. Jones says he spent several nights sleeping at the Manning Center while working around the clock to preserve the roster and program. I mean, everybody in the Ole Miss football office was like, oh, we don't really trust this Lane Kiffin guy. LSU still managed to take multiple Ole Miss players, right? There was a couple that they were able to grab. They also pursued Trinidad Chambliss and Kewan Lacey, but despite all this, Ole Miss did have an incredible postseason. They beat Tulane 41-10 in the college football playoff first round. They upset Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, and they lost to Miami 31-27 in the semifinal. So they were able to do some stuff. But as that all is going about, by the way, Frank, that is the craziest thing that's some of the craziest stuff I've ever heard. I mean, this is what you got in college athletics now because of how dumb it is for these coaches to be able to leave before the end of the season because we don't have any rules in college football. This is the stuff you're trying to prevent, of course. But I could see why Ole Miss was doing this. I mean, did we honestly think, why would Lane Kiffin put recording devices all over the place? I mean, it's not like they're in the same division. If they were to do that, that would make this story even crazier. But talk about the paranoia from Ole Miss after Lane Kiffin leaves. They were searching the place for recording devices.
It's your reputation that precedes you.
I know.
That's what it is. I mean, Lane Kiffin has been known to not be the greatest of individuals. So there you go. That's what you get out of it. It's absolutely hilarious. Rolling on the floor, holding my sides, hilarious that is the case. But I mean, that's your reputation precedes you, bud. That's what happens. And whether or not it's just pure speculation or if they did find something, it's what comes with having Lane Kiffin in your house.
LSU has just got the trifecta of coaches right now, don't they? With Lane Kiffin, and we got to the next Lane Kiffin story here in a second. Lane Kiffin, Will Wade, and Mulkey, whatever her name is. Did you see that story with Mulkey? She went and got a player from Russia, but there was a player on her team from Ukraine. She has now transferred out because her dad's in the military in Ukraine, and it's like chaos. I mean, three of a kind at LSU right now. Now, here's the other thing. Lane Kiffin's like one of the only coaches right now that's like doubling down on trying to get NFL players. Kiffin is defending another controversial recruiting practice.
Because of course he is.
He's defending LSU's decision to recruit players who have already played professionally in the NFL and have been given court-approved opportunity to return to college. He goes, these players have been granted another year of eligibility. If LSU doesn't recruit them, somebody else will. Okay. I guess that's fair enough. And it's difficult to dismiss from a purely practical standpoint here, but the bigger question should be, should players who have already entered the professional football world be allowed to return to college football? I say no. And so does the Big Ten, who announced that they will not allow players to play who have already played professional football. And this is coming from, of course, that former Ole Miss tight end Daquan Wright was waived by the Browns and has now reached an agreement with LSU once he clears waivers from the NFL to go play at LSU next year, which is dumb in its own right. It's so dumb. College football has never had a deal with a guy that couldn't make an NFL team come back to college football. And by the way, take away a spot from some kid playing at LSU. And LSU's got a couple of these guys that they want to bring in. They're going to lose up to 6 spots. So 6 guys from LSU to account for these failed NFL players. And I guess it's their first year. Okay. And they have 1 year of eligibility left. 6 dudes that were with you all summer just got to get cut from the team to account for these guys coming in. And they can't go. It's not like they can go to another school immediately, Frank. I mean, they're just not on the team. They're still in class at LSU. The NCAA changed its eligibility model in June. This is why we have this problem. The new system allows athletes up to 5 years of eligibility within 5 years, but it didn't cover players who started college during the 2022-2023 academic year. So those players argue that they were improperly denied a 5th year. A Louisiana court, of course it was the Louisiana court that handled this, right, Frank? LSU and Louisiana court.
Oh, that's what LSU, Louisiana State. That's what that stands for.
Of course. That's the court that decided to grant a temporary restraining order allowing 16 players to return to college and enter the transfer portal. I played 4 years. I want another one because we should be grandfathered into this. That's why Lane Kiffin says criticizing the players isn't fair. A judge ruled that way. They were granted another year. They're allowed to play. Come on. Do you know why the NCAA did not grandfather those athletes in? Did you hear their reasoning on why? Because the COVID year screwed up college athletics so bad, they didn't want to have to do that again. I think that's a fair reason why they didn't include that group.
Yes.
I think
100%.
that's fair. Because you know what it did? It hurt a lot of high school kids.
Yes.
Like for every college kid or former college kid that you think you're helping, you are ruining it for a high school kid coming out of high school that's got nowhere to go. So just think about that. Now, the SEC has come together and they're like, oh, we shouldn't allow this. But the Big Ten finally ruled that they don't want to have this. As they said today, no NFL drafted or undrafted free agent signed players, anybody that has, been a part of professional football is allowed to play for the Big Ten. But now all you're going to get, Frank, instead of these organizations suing, or should I say these class action lawsuits suing the NCAA, guess who they're going to sue now? They're just going to sue the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They're going to sue the SEC, right? And they're not going to have anything to really go off of because you know what they don't have? Antitrust law protection. They don't have that. So just the college athletics is crazy. When we come back, we're going to get to our midday sports standoff, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We will continue our conversation about college football. We got an NFL training camp to get to in the 1 o'clock hour, and we'll talk more about Padres and Pirates later on as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, standing as someone Sports Station 97 through the Fan. We're going to get back to our baseball conversation here in a little bit. And baseball coverage on 97 through the Fan is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi. One price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. Saturday's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got a lot to get to still in the Padres world. We're going to talk about the NFL training camp. We're going to get to our update on that. San Diego FC had a big weekend win over the weekend. We'll also get to, and we'll talk about game 2 of Padres and Pirates to finish up the show. But before we move any further, we haven't done this in a while, and we have a new prize this month. If you can take me down to some sports trivia, you would be qualified for a shot at our grand prize, a pair of VIP tickets to Leonard Skinner at Del Mar Arena on September 24th. Tickets are at cbfproductions.com. Let's get to today's Midday Sports Stand-Up.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
It's no good. Are you kidding me, Mr.
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, what we got playing today?
We have Ryan in Carlsbad playing today. Ryan, how you doing, bud?
Good, guys. Good. Thank you for having me. Big time fan.
Of course. Thank you very much for calling in. This is, as Braden said, this is the first Midday Sports Standoff that we've done in a little while. So let's ease into this.
It feels like it.
The Padres have hit some of the most home runs, or right up there with the most home runs since the All-Star break. Who currently lead the San Diego Padres in home runs as a team this season? Looking for the top 13. There was only 10, but there are 4 tied for 10th. So the 13 players that currently lead the Padres in home runs this season.
Out of 15 position players that have played for the Padres.
I hate so much. You know what? Fine. 9. Now 9.
I mean,
now 9.
13. I could just name you the roster.
Now 9. Give me the top 9 players that have hit home runs.
Name the 9 guys that haven't spent a long time on the IL.
So we start with Manny.
You know what? Yes.
How many's Manny got?
Manny's got 24.
24. Jack Bauer. I'm gonna go with Jackson Merrill.
He's got 21.
Yeah, he's played a lot of games too.
You know what? Ryan. Number 3.
How many has he got? 18. Well, Fernando's got 17.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Ryan, I'm trying to ease
Gavin
into
Sheets.
this. Gavin Sheets, yes. Oh, my God.
Well, I think Xander Bogaerts has at least 10. How many more we got?
There's 3 more. Ryan.
Okay.
Oh God. Thinking here. Luis Campusano?
No.
He has 5, yes.
Oh, okay. Miguel Andujar before he got hurt.
He also has 5.
I got an IL one. Ramon Laureano.
Congratulations, Ryan. You have won today.
All right. That's a 2 minutes.
Hang on the line. We'll get your information. You try to ease back into something.
This is why.
Give a softball. Try to just enjoy. We got the game back.
This is just like. This game is very similar to Chris's Fantabulous Game Show. And on Chris's Fantabulous Game Show, they get extra points for the leaders. So Manny Machado should have got 24 points for you. That's the way to do it, where it's like, hey, I got to guess the one with more home runs. And then it's not just, hey, let me just name the Padres roster. The top 13 play. How many players have played for the Padres this year? I mean, if you look at, like, what's Baseball Reference say about the Pods? The top 13 home run hitters for the Padres this year.
Again, as I said, it would have been top 10, but there were 4 that were tied for 10th, which is another thing you yelled at me over.
Well, they would all be, they'd be, why didn't you, I mean, you could have done the top 5. It's not enough, I guess. There have been a total of 18 position players that have played for the Padres this year.
No, there's
18 players that have hit home runs.
Yes.
19, 20, 21, 22,
like
23, 24. There's
24 with
24 position players to play for the Padres this year. And you wanted me to name, or us to name
9 of them.
Did you say 13 originally?
I did say 13 originally,
okay, so
but 9 of them.
But originally 13 would have been more than half of the players that played for the Padres position player.
Could have been tricky because there were players on that list that aren't currently on the team anymore, period. But, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, the hard one was what? Nick Castellanos with his 4 home runs?
Shut up.
Oh, you really, I mean, easing into it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We were easing into it. That was the plan for today, was to ease into it, get a guy qualified to Vegas, something that we have not done in about a month or so. That was the goal of this.
George in the YouTube chat wants to know why Yu Darvish is only getting $1 million on the contract this year. The $1 million is his signing bonus. He's on the restricted list, which means he's not getting paid. Who knows if he's getting paid off of that, like a side thing, if they made a deal, whatever. But when you're on the restricted list, you are not paid. So he's not getting his $15 million. That's not deferred or anything like that. I mean, who knows what the Padres made an agreement with if they did, but
they've made no agreements with me.
If he's on the restricted list, he doesn't get paid. Anyway. All right. Ease into it. What did Adam say the question should have been? Which Padres players have a home run total that is a prime number? Jake Waters has his idea of a trivia question. Name the 3 guys no longer on the team. You know, that would be a great David Letterman top 10. Top 10 best questions Frank Marchese's asked.
I hate you
for the
all.
Midday Sports Standoff.
I hate you all so much.
That would be fantastic. Get ready for tomorrow's question. Name the 8 pitchers on the pitching staff. Adam's killing me, dude.
Okay, that's fine.
Name a Padres player whose home run total is divisible by pi.
Okay. I'll remember that for tomorrow.
I'll
remember this for tomorrow.
It's comical. It's comical.
Thanks.
I will say this though, Frank. At least your answers to your questions, for the most part, are correct. And that's where you run into problems in the afternoon show. A lot of the time, they're not even right. Have you heard Chris vs. the Fans?
I've been a part of it.
Some of Scraby's answers.
I've been a part of it.
Please tell me you had correct answers on yours.
The ones that I've done with them, or these?
The ones you did with them. I know your answers here are correct.
I think 1 or 2 of them might have been wrong. Potentially.
Well, Scraby got into an issue of like having Chat GPT like come up with his trivia questions.
I have not done that, as you could tell.
I like Jake Waters' idea for the morning show. Have a mixture of real or fake from Bennett Woods. Instead, is this trivia question Frank or Scrappy? That actually would be kind of funny. Is this Real or fake? Is this Frank or Scraby or fake? That would be pretty good. I think that'd be a pretty good one. I really do. Name a Padres player's home run total corresponds to an election year. 21 home runs equals 2021. All right, I've had my fun. That was fun. Are you having a good time? You don't seem as upset with this as you were about us saying that the sometimes you could spend a lot of money and it doesn't work out. The New York Mets. That has made you more upset every single time. It has. You got anything else to say?
No, I'm good.
Frank's going to come up with just the most difficult question for Thursday's midday sports standoff. Like, name all the cities that the Padres have played in this year. That's not bad. They had to play an international game. I gave you one the other day that I thought was good, but obviously I can't come up with them because I know the answers.
And I also didn't remember what it was.
Here's a trivia question for you. Name I think it's 9. Name the 9 states that don't have
That's what it was.
An FBS football team.
That's what it was.
The 9 states that don't have an FBS. Or sorry, it's the 9. No, that's not what it was. It's name the 9 states that have only one FBS university. So, and the states that only have one FBS team. Now that's a trivia question. There's 9 of them. Jake Waters and Augie are probably just drooling right now, ready to answer some of those. It's not bad. Where's the is the outro music at 54? Oh man. Get the phone. Get Kyle up and moving. It's been a tough Tuesday for Frank. You know what? The best part is, though, you don't have I Need Money right now in the YouTube chat. Congratulations to Ryan and Carlsbad. He's going to see Leonard Skinner. Frank, we'll see you at you got to go to Adam's office in between. Talk to you.
Hey, it's Scraby, and if little things in life annoy you, then you are going to like the Daily Gray. I'll share my pet peeves with you, and I'll feel better about it. The Scraby Show, weekdays, 6 to 7 p.m. on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey gang, it's Chris Ello, and coming up on September the 2nd, DraftKings Game Day is arriving with massive deals, exclusive deals, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. Yep, the DraftKings Sports app is now live in all 50 states. That means right here in California, and DraftKings Game Day is yours. Remember the date, September 2nd, the kickoff of a new season, a new era, and the biggest day in sports history. Get ready to celebrate.
Final hour of the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. We're going to get you our NFL training camp report in just a little bit. We're going to talk Padres baseball here as well. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. We will be at the Loft tomorrow at Petco Park for hopefully the Padres trying to play in a rubber match against the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're going to talk more about that in just a little bit. I did see that the USD Soccer got some acknowledgement in the rankings. There's a couple of different rankings that they use for college athletics, especially for soccer. But top drawer soccer has San Diego Soccer number 1 in the country after knocking off Washington and having a good game against Liberty. So we'll let you know how they're doing throughout. But I will say this. I wanted to mention this when it comes to college football, because I had this question come up the other day. There are about, I think there's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there's 9. I think there's 9 schools or 9 states that have only one FBS school in it. As like a trivia question, would you like to play the game?
Nah, I'm all gamed out today.
9 states with one FBS school in it. It's a pretty interesting. It's a pretty difficult question. But you have to think of the states that don't have a lot of schools, and they got to think of states that just have one.
Massachusetts.
I guessed that one before too. They have Boston College and
that's right.
Right. You're close. There's a state that borders that one.
I was thinking that would be Connecticut then.
Connecticut. UConn is 1. Ding. Give yourself a correct answer.
Thanks.
We're gonna correct answer you into happiness here.
New York has 2. Pennsylvania's got multiple.
Pennsylvania's got 3. New York's got 3.
Who's the third?
Army.
Oh, that's right.
Buffalo and Syracuse.
Yes. No, I got Buffalo and Syracuse. Army was the one.
I guess New York too, and I thought of Buffalo. I totally forgot about Syracuse. Also forgot about Army.
Yeah, go Aztecs in there. Hawaii.
Hawaii. Bing.
Okay, Adam. That's not a reason to cheer up.
It's okay, Frank. Cheer up. The Mets played baseball today. Yay!
Thanks.
It's the Mets. Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets.
Wyoming.
Meet the Mets. Wyoming. Correct. Ding. You got 2 dings. You got Hawaii and you got Wyoming.
Oklahoma's got Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
And Tulsa.
Texas is, yeah.
Texas has 1,000.
Yeah. Iowa State. Missouri State. North Dakota.
North Dakota is correct. Just recently correct.
Yes, as of this year, correct. Nevada.
No.
They have UNLV and who?
Nevada. Nevada, Reno. Bordering state there, though.
Idiot. Already got Wyoming, didn't I?
There's another one. Well, Wyoming doesn't border Nevada.
Boise.
Boise for Idaho.
Yeah.
Idaho, yes, that is correct. You are missing 4. You're missing 4. There is one that Missouri State makes Missouri not
Yes,
one of
Missouri,
them.
yeah. Ohio's got a bunch.
Yes, they can make their own conference if they wanted to.
Indiana's got a couple.
Indiana's got 4. Notre Dame, Purdue, Ball State, and Indiana.
Illinois. The only one I could think of for Illinois is the Illini.
Northwestern's in Chicago.
Yeah, that's
also
right.
Northern
Yes.
Illinois as well. You're close, though. There are 3 Midwest schools and 1 school on the East Coast.
Jersey.
Yeah, Rutgers is the only one in Jersey. Actually, there is 9. You're missing another one over there because they just became an FBS school. So I was right.
Delaware.
Delaware. Now you're missing 3 Big Ten schools.
Wisconsin.
Yep.
Nebraska.
Yep. Ding, ding.
Yep.
One more.
Minnesota.
Minnesota! Yeah, that was good.
And I put the computer down. I closed the computer over, so I could not
Well,
see.
I was looking at it. I know you weren't looking at it. Minnesota. 9 states that only have 1 FBS school in them. North Dakota, let's go west to east. Hawaii, Idaho, Wyoming, North Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware. Oh, maybe there's 10. There's 10. You got 10. 10 states, if you will, that only have 1 FBS team. All right. I want to get to the NFL report, but I do want to talk about what happened over the weekend in San Diego FC. We had a good weekend when it comes to soccer in town.
Very good weekend.
For some of the college soccer programs as well as San Diego FC. San Diego FC wins 3-0 over Colorado. That's a big win and a good step in the right direction.
Yes, very, very good for San Diego FC. Valakari putting one in. Elias Achuri gets his first goal with the club, so that was a very good moment for him. I believe I'm not sure if he started. I know he didn't start against. He didn't start in the last match. I know that, but he did start here. And Gabriel Pirani, second goal in as many games for him. Very nice strike as well. So I'm very pleased, and this is the San Diego FC that we know, and this is the club that we came to fall in love with last year. So for San Diego FC to kind of show that back, and they have been a home team. They've won their last 4 matches now at Snapdragon Stadium. They have been very, very comfortable playing at home, a lot more so than on the road. So very, very nice to see them get back to their normal selves against a decent team in Colorado.
So from over the weekend, I mean, we got to see more consistency out of San Diego FC. Now, they have a ton of promise because, they have shown how good that they can be. And the other thing that's exciting for San Diego FC fans is the fact that, we're still around the halfway point of the year, so there's still some time to make up some ground, but they're gonna. It's kind of like the same conversation we had with the Padres. They're kind of playing similar seasons right now, but they have to just play a little bit more consistent, if you will. And they have time to make up some ground, but like they can't take another step back or too many more steps back, or they're going to be in a terrible spot.
No, and you just went past the halfway point as well in the season, so you're starting to run out of that time. You're out of the international tournaments now, so you don't have to worry about Leagues Cup. You don't have to worry. I forget what cup it was at the beginning of the season. You're out of that. Your only focus now is domestic play. You don't have any more breaks like you had with the World Cup. You're going to be getting a lot of games in very short order. I believe next season's kind of that abbreviated season as they switch to the European schedule where they would be starting the season now instead of being in the middle of it. So they really need to find that consistency that made them so dangerous last year. They're not far away from a playoff spot. They can still make it there, but it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of hearkening back to what made them as dominant as they were last year. And it started last week. Also, you got Chico Lozano coming in with the LA Galaxy this weekend too. So it's going to be a meaningful match against LA this weekend.
That's a huge match against LA for a couple of reasons. One, obviously playoff position, but two, now the Chucky Lozano situation. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that will not get blown out of proportion.
No,
right?
Not at all.
Right?
No.
Right. I mean, if the Galaxy do really well and Chucky Lozano scores a goal, you're going to have all the Chucky Lozano fans just going like, see, they should have kept Chucky, all that other stuff. And if he doesn't do well, I'm sure people are going to be like, see, this is the Chucky everybody thought he was going to be. It's going to be a hot take reaction to the next match.
And I will reiterate it once again. The problem with San Diego FC this year has been their defense and lack of consistency. Those are two things that Chucky Lozano would not have helped. He is a winger. He is a forward. He is not a defensive player. And consistency befuddles everyone at any given time. There is nothing that Chucky Lozano could have provided to this team this year that would have fixed the problems that the club has had all season long. Nothing.
So from here, San Diego FC, again, we finally got to see them play like we would expect them to play. We will have some guests this week, correct?
We are in the process, yes, of getting a couple of San Diego FC players on for Thursday and Friday. Be the last hour of the show.
All right. That's a little look at San Diego FC. We'll kind of reset from yesterday in terms of like the Padres and what the Padres are up to. But we did get some news that we did not really talk about yet on the show, and that was the news to send down Sungmoon Song and select the contract of Dustin Harris. And we also got some news with Lucas Giolito as well as a couple other pitchers. But the update that we got before the game from Jeff Sanders. The big one, of course, that the Padres announced, Sungmoon Song being optioned to AAA El Paso, and they brought up Dustin Harris as they selected his contract. And the corresponding move, of course, too, to activate him to the 40-man roster, Lucas Giolito has been added to the 60-day injured list. I would imagine you probably won't see too much of Lucas Giolito. I mean, he hasn't pitched in the majors since June 21st. He's been rehabbing at the Padres spring training complex in Peoria. Apparently, he's hit a wall in his ramp-up. I understand why they made the move for Sungmoon Song to go down. But interesting with the thrown in there of Lucas Giolito, I would imagine you're not going to expect him to be with the club later on this year.
No, he is eligible to come off of that 60-day IL. It's not 60 days from when you're put on it. It's retroactive to the original date. Also, you got the news about Joe Musgrove and Nick Pivetta. Both of those guys are going to
get to that next.
Okay, yeah, both of those guys are going to be pitching this week. But I find it interesting, and I kind of mentioned it during the Open that I saw it. That I'm surprised.
Poor Frank. You know what you had to do with Sammy walking by and tormenting you, and then Adam just kind of walks by.
Yeah, in the morning, Sam's here messing with me,
pressing his face against the glass.
Yeah,
like
and
he
now
always does.
And now Adam's having fun.
Just a simple smile. He's just smiling.
Yeah, I know. Where is the sign? Where is the sign that we used to have? Wild animals don't tap glass.
Do not touch the glass when animals are at work.
Jeez.
All right, back to the Sung Moon Song.
I'm surprised that Sung Moon Song wasn't sent down earlier.
I know.
Honestly, I mean, if you're gonna, he's been up all season now. He's had this same role. I'm not sure why now you make the decision instead of sending Jace Bowen down, for example. That's another outfielder. You don't have another infielder now.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting, but at the same time, like, they've invested money into Sung Moon Song. He needs reps. I can't believe it's taken this long. I mean, he's essentially disappeared offensively over the past month as well. He's gone 2 for 26 since July 20th. That's not great, but also like 26 at-bats is not a lot. This guy needs to get at-bats. He needs to log innings. He needs to, adjust to, Major League Baseball as much as he can. And like, again, with guys coming over from the KBO, that's more like AA. So even AAA is good for him to get adapted, to the game out here. So, he's hitting 202 with a 264 slug and 134 plate appearances. Craig Stammen stressed they still like Sung Moon Song, but they need him to play all the time, and they can't afford to give Song playing time and have him not do well in the major leagues. I think it was a no-brainer move, and probably one that they should have had a while ago. And maybe you get some type of spark out of Dustin Harris. Like Dustin Harris played yesterday. He's a 27-year-old left-hander. He's been crushing the ball in El Paso. He played with Texas. He played with Chicago. He's played with Houston. It's not like, he's a forever minor leaguer finally getting his shot. I mean, he's done okay. He's only had 89 career MLB at-bats, but since joining the Padres organization, 350 average, 422 on base, 617 slug, 6 home runs in 29 games. Maybe you get some type of spark out of Harris coming up because of the fact that you don't have Samad Taylor back yet. And maybe he can help that way. And the thing is, if it doesn't work out with Dustin Harris, you just let him go.
Yeah.
Right. Where Sung Moon Song is, you need to get him reps. You can afford to have Dustin Harris sit on the bench for multiple games in a row. You can't really afford to do that with Sung Moon Song. So I could see why that is the move. Now with Song gone, Rengifo becomes the primary backup now in the infield. Jake Cronenworth will be the backup at shortstop. Fernando remains the emergency option in the infield if necessary. You have options there behind Song. I thought Song did a really good job defensively for the Padres up at the big league level, but they got to get his bat going.
Yeah, what are those splits now? Everyone made such a big stink about Fernando's splits between right field and second base. I wonder what those are looking like now.
Now that was a fun bit for us for a while. Hey, we don't think it really matters, but I don't know. The numbers speak for themselves. I'm sure this season they've probably balanced out, but in terms of his career numbers, they probably still show that he's better in the infield than in the outfield, but he's been on a tear. The big thing, of course, was Nick Pivetta and Joe Musgrove. We have those updates when we come back. We also have an NFL training camp report as well as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. What's up, guys? It's Braden Surprenant. Before the season even kicks off, everyone is making predictions. Who wins the division? Who makes the playoffs? Who's lifting the trophy at season's end? On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions in a live market. The season is getting closer, and the playoff picture is already taking shape. Dallas currently trading at 52% to make the playoffs, meaning a $100 trade would pay out about $192 if Dallas clinches a playoff spot. And as the season gets closer, those probabilities can move in real time. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in the live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app. Use all right, guys, join us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking, it's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're going to talk about some news with the Padres pitchers here in a second, and then we're going to get to our NFL report. Okay, so the Song Harris transaction was kind of the headline of yesterday, but we did get some pitching updates that are obviously very important to the Padres' postseason hopes. Let's start with the Nick Pivetta situation. Nick Pivetta threw a bullpen on Sunday, and he is scheduled to resume his rehab assignment on Tuesday. I thought that was pretty significant news. I am not holding my breath when it comes to Nick Pivetta coming back and pitching in a Padres uniform. Not after him missing the amount of time that he's missed, and especially not after him walking off the mound on August 4th with elbow discomfort. Now, the Padres are saying he's feeling a lot better, and if the next rehab outing goes well, Nick Pivetta could be back in the rotation relatively soon, and that could be enormous for a team, obviously, trying to make a postseason push. But, like, how much confidence can you possibly have in a guy who has now had another setback during his rehab? I mean, I find that to be interesting. Did they say he was pitching today?
Yes,
on Tuesday?
He's pitching with Lake Elsinore today per Jeff Sanders.
That's a late, I would imagine.
And Musgrove's got Thursday with El Paso.
And we're going to get to Joe here in a second. But so he's pitching tonight against Cucamonga. And that will be at 6:30 against the Quakes. Who owns the Quakes now? Is that the Angels that owns the Quakes now? That was the Dodgers forever, and I think they've moved to Ontario. So that's a 6:30 start. So anybody that pays for like Padres TV, I'm pretty sure you get the minor league stuff on there. You can watch them start at 6:30 if you want. So we'll see how Nick Pivetta does. I mean, I'm not holding my breath in terms of him coming back. Would it be great? Awesome. But like, let's say Pivetta does come back. Are you pitching him in the playoffs? I mean, I guess maybe if like he makes it, but like, are you going to start him? I don't know what you can get out of Nick Pivetta right now. I mean, I find it, I just would be like sitting there hoping we don't see him just get hurt in real time. I don't have a lot of confidence in Nick Pivetta being able to come back. I really don't, but we'll see. Joe Musgrove moving closer. This report is more in a sense of like roster decisions. We're close to September. And when September happens, you can add 2 guys to the roster because the rosters expand. I think that's the cleaner way of doing things. And now the luxury with the Padres and their starting staff is the fact that they don't need Musgrove back as soon as possible. So Musgrove is moving closer after being held back because of a back tweak. He is scheduled to pitch Thursday for El Paso, as Frank mentioned, against Oklahoma City. He threw 70 pitches over 4 2/3 innings in his previous rehab outing on August 14th. He believes, Musgrove does, that he needs roughly 6 innings and around 85 pitches. If he gets there, he could potentially return to the Padres around September 1st when rosters expand. And Musgrove's comments that he made in this article with Jeff Sanders yesterday, he doesn't believe the Padres need to rush him. And I think it's a luxury the Padres didn't necessarily have earlier this season. I mean, they're playing well enough that they could prioritize Musgrove getting completely right rather than just throwing him into the rotation because they need another arm. So I think that's good news too. I think people saw that and were a little upset. But because like he missed another start, and I think a lot of people thought he was going to be back this week. But he might make 1, maybe 2 more rehab assignments. And he'll be back on potentially on September 1st when the rosters expand. I think it's the best time to bring him back. Casey Mize update. He also played catch Monday after dealing with a right ankle sprain. The Thursday off day does give the Padres additional time to evaluate him before his scheduled start on Friday. So the Padres might have a couple of questions that could be become some good problems if everything breaks correctly. I don't think Casey Mize will go to the IL. Maybe he does. I don't think he will. I think Musgrove will be back in September. I'm not holding my breath, Frank, if on Nick Pivetta coming back at all.
No, and if he does, I think it'll probably be like a long relief. I don't see, or they'll piggyback with somebody. I don't see him having a meaningful return this season. And also with and again, this is pure speculation, with his reactivation deadline coming and going and knowing what the deal is, how motivated a Nick Pivetta are you going to get when he comes back as well?
Yeah, if he's out there and he wants to just go compete for this team and lay it on the line for this team, I'd respect that. I think it'd be very admirable. But I can understand why things might be a little different. I think it leads to the question about the contract too now. So we'll see how that goes. So the Big Ten has now put in some rules for this as we transition back. We're going to get to an NFL camp report in just a little bit, but we have a couple of minutes. The Big Ten doesn't want to see former pros back in college, right?
Good.
I agree with that. Until my next situation was the Big Ten then would just be the one that is getting sued instead of the NCAA. But the Big Ten is doing a different approach. They're going to suspend head coaches for half the season if they play an NFL player, and there's going to be an institutional fine. So I think regardless if the Big Ten gets sued or not,
so the schools
they're going to start fining coaches and schools if they decide that they want to play these guys, even though they're eligible by the NCAA. The Big Ten's going to be like, yep, but you're going to have consequences if you play these guys.
Yeah, exactly. So Big Ten schools can do this. However, it'll come at the cost of their head coach for 6 games and a monetary fine.
Yeah, so the Big Ten rule banning NFL players is officially passed with unanimous faculty representative approval. The specific language of what's not allowed, according to Pete Thamel: underclassmen who declared for NFL draft and did not withdraw, any football player who signed a contract with the pro sports league, anyone who was officially on a professional roster. Those players can't play for the Big Ten. Even if they sue, right? Even if they sue the Big Ten and all that stuff to deem that they're eligible, the Big Ten is going to suspend a coach, the head coach, for half the season if they play an NFL player. Also, an institutional fine and punitive punishments. CBS first reported this. This is from Pete Thamel. Honestly, that's the best approach, because you can punish the coaches because they are employees and they did sign contracts and they are under contract in college athletics. I mean, at this point, that's not a, you know what? I think that's thinking outside the box. If you're the Big Ten, why are we constantly trying to rule these guys are ineligible? Why don't we just say, if you use these players who we deem you cannot use, regardless if they're eligible by the court of law or not, you're going to face some serious stipulations.
Which is also, I mean, it's a way to keep them from getting consistently sued. And also it puts the onus on the team. Now, that is, I think, the best way to stamp this out is if you make ridiculously aggressive penalties for these teams. Like, you can do this, you're going to screw your entire team over, you're going to screw their entire season over. And someone said, why not for the full season? In college, it's not like the NFL. 1 or 2 losses, you're done, you're out of it. So to lose them for half the season, you could do a lot of damage to a college football team and a college football team's outlook for conference championship, for bowl game, for playoff positioning. You could do a lot of damage losing the head of the organization for 6 weeks, a lot more than you could do in professional. So if you make a very, very egregious penalty, you can do this, but you are going to suffer and suffer big for it. That's a great idea.
I think it's great. I you know what? I know the NCAA probably can't do this, but the conferences definitely can. They have say in what's going on, and I now they got to get these conferences to start implementing rules like this for a lot of different things, and maybe that's the workaround. The workaround. Maybe that's how they fix college athletics. But the problem is the Big Ten and the SEC already make all these rules. The other thing too, and this is a topic for a different day because we got to go to break. I mean, with the Big Ten and the SEC like being in charge, like why don't they just make those 2 leagues and then just put all the teams in those 2 leagues? Just make them the 2 conferences of college athletics, and then in there just put a bunch of divisions. I mean, the whole thing is about TV contracts, right? And them just getting the most money.
You mean like how professional sports have the like American and National League,
you might
and
as well
East
just
and
make
West
it
Conference?
Yeah, just make it that, but just include all the Division I schools, all the FBS schools. Just make them a part of it. I'm sure they'd get a lot of money. Probably share. There's money to be shared. It's money, but you know what? The current Big Ten schools and SEC schools wouldn't like that because then they would actually have to try to win on a fair playing field, which they don't want to do. When we come back, 5 teams ESPN thinks are going to be better this year. 5 teams they think are going to be worse in the National Football League. We will buy or sell whether or not we agree. Finish up the show. Final minutes of the Braden Surprenant Show. We're going to take a look at stuff in the NFL and pass it along to Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, and Matt Scraby as he gets ready for Padres and Pirates. Game 2 of this 3-game set. Padres drop game 1 in extras. We'll see how the Pods do tonight as they will be going against Paul Skenes at Petco Park. Paul Skenes, Michael King. Paul Skenes has not had the greatest of years this year. 9-11 with a 3.95 ERA, but his velo's been going down. Last couple of outings have not been very good. We'll see what the Padres have in store. Tomorrow, Frank and I will be live at the Loft. Talking Padres baseball, obviously. It will be a fun time at Petco Park. Always is when we go out there on the Wednesday day game. So we will be out there tomorrow. Usually run into our guys, Rod and Nate. And we'll talk some college football later on this week. I do have some news. So we got TCU football on the air on Saturday. It'll be on 97.3 The Fan. It won't just be me.
How about that?
That TCU guy. We actually got the Frogs on the air on Saturday. It's our Westwood One package that we have, and we have select games of the week and stuff that air throughout the college football and NFL season. So we will have at 9 a.m, TCU, North Carolina, on 97.3 The Fan. Oh, yeah, on the Horned Frogs now. JK. If you watch the game on Saturday, because it will be on ESPN, you will see the little TCU frog underneath the TCU logo with a shamrock in its mouth. It's a great touch. I do need to get some of that gear. I am waiting until after they potentially win, because if they lose on Saturday, I want nothing to do with the Irish frog. Just absolutely nothing to do with it. But Hypnotoad is loading, as Augie says in the YouTube chat. We'll talk about college football later on in the week, more on a Thursday. Frank, we got a pretty packed Thursday already based on the things that we are punting to Thursday.
Yes, we do.
But to finish up today's show, let's do a little buy or sell with the NFL. All right. So here's how we're going to do this. Bill Barnwell, who writes for ESPN, has a historical model that is pretty compelling. Since 2017, Bill Barnwell has shown his improved decline picks have gone 69 and 17 when predicting whether teams will improve or decline from the previous season. The bigger takeaway from his articles this week on ESPN is that NFL teams often don't repeat extreme outcomes, especially in one-score games, turnover margin, fumble recoveries, and injury luck. So here are some of the teams. He wrote about it on NFL.com. We're going to talk about 5 of the teams, but if you want to check it out, he's got 5 NFL teams that will take a step back this season. He has 5 NFL teams that will improve from last season. We're going to buy or sell on 5 of them, and we will start with the Chicago Bears, Frank.
The Bears. All right. So starting with the Bears, buy or sell the regression for the Bears. The Bears will win fewer than 11 games this season. This is probably the strongest regression argument of the list. Chicago went 11-6, but the formula screams this is difficult to repeat. Are the Bears actually a better team this year? Or are we making an 11-win season fueled by turnovers and close game magic a recipe for sustainable success?
I think this is unsustainable for the Bears. I will buy the regression. I will sell the Bears in general. I mean, they had a plus 22 turnover margin, only 11 turnovers committed, fewest in the NFL. They recovered 66.7% of fumbles. This is all part of Barnwell's article. They went 7-4 in one-score games. Defense ranked only 27th in points allowed per drive when you remove the turnovers. Pass rush ranked 29th in pressure rate, projected 10th toughest schedule. And the fascinating part about this, Ben Johnson himself called Chicago the number 1 regression candidate. Their head coach said that. The counter argument to this, of course, the Bears don't need to duplicate last year's formula to have success. I mean, Caleb Williams could potentially take a major leap. Colston Loveland emerged. Luther Borden the third showed a lot of flashes. Roma Dunze should be healthier. And I like Ben Johnson as an offensive mind. So all of those are, I think, reasons why the Bears will be competitive this year. But I'm selling on the Bears. I don't think they're going to come close to the 11 wins that they won last year. They got the 10th toughest schedule in the league. Too much turnover and close game luck for them last season, including, how about their playoff game, right, against Green Bay? I mean, what a comeback that they had in that one. They were getting their ass kicked in that game. I think some of the luck runs out for Chicago. I don't think they're going to come close to the season they had last year.
Next up, the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are buy or sell.
The Denver Broncos.
Buy or sell, the Broncos are still a 14-win team. This one might be one of the most uncomfortable ones because Denver looks built to repeat. They went 14-3, have Bo Nix entering year 3, and Jalen Waddle. Added Jalen Waddle and returned virtually their entire roster.
I mean, some of the warning signs were laid out in the article. There are 9-2 in one-score games. Based on what Bill Barnwell has reported on over the last handful of seasons, it's that teams rarely ever replicate what they did in one-score games from the year before. Defense was the third healthiest in the NFL. I think that's a factor as well. You got to stay healthy. They're the 5th oldest team by snap weighted age. Their defense went from 2nd in points allowed per possession through week 11 to 21st over the next 4 games. Offense actually dropped from 15th to 18th in points per drive. Nick still hasn't really taken the offense to the next level. He's coming off of an injury from last year, remember, in the playoffs. I don't think Denver's going to be bad. They're not a 14-win team again. I just think with the Chiefs, probably going to be a lot better than they were last year. The Chargers are going to be, I think, decent to better. I think the AFC in general is going to be a little bit more difficult for the Broncos to deal with. I just too many things have to go right for the Broncos to win 14 games. I'm selling that they're going to be that good again.
Up next, the Detroit Lions. Detroit went from 15-2 to 9-8, but a lot of that decline came from things that are highly unlikely to repeat. If the Lions are healthy and simply move from historically bad fumble recovery luck towards an average team, as well as getting healthier, buy or sell, the Lions are back in the playoffs this year.
I think the Lions are going to bounce back. I think not having Ben Johnson definitely hurt them a little bit. I think they will come back, back to where they were, though. They went 2-5 in one-score games. Again, teams usually don't replicate what they did the year before in one-score games. Just on the luck of the fumble recoveries, like we talked about. They were last in adjusted defensive games lost. They lost Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph to major injuries. They had the 2nd easiest projected schedule this year. They still finished with a plus 68 point differential, and they get 6 games against the 8 worst teams in the NFL, according to Football Power Index on ESPN. I think that shows that I think just by some of those factors, the Lions are going to be a lot better than they were last year. I will buy that the Lions will be better and they will overcome the injuries and turnover luck that they had a season ago. I think that will start to normalize. A lot of this with the NFL, Frank, is schedule. First place schedule versus the last place schedule. Teams usually have a lot of success when they're coming off of playing a last place schedule. I think that's what's going to happen for the Lions. They're going to play a little bit better of a schedule. I think it's going to impact where they're at the end of the season. So I will buy that they will be back in the playoffs this year.
Up next to the New York Football Giants. The Giants were 4-13 last season, but their point differential suggested a 7.1 win team. They also went 1-6 in one-score games and lost 4 games in which they had a 90% or more percent win probability in the fourth quarter. Buy or sell, the Giants have a playoff team this year.
I buy that. You probably don't because you're a Giants fan. I buy it, though, because I think John Harbaugh is going to turn that culture around.
I believe in Harbaugh. The two that I don't necessarily entirely believe in are the goobers in the backfield. on offense.
No, Cam Scatavo. I think Jackson Dart did fine last year.
He did fine.
But now he did fine without Malik Neighbors, who missed most of the year. Malik's back. I think the 4 offensive pieces are going to be a lot better. They were on the field together for 60 snaps total. That's a huge difference. Defense was 26th in the league in DVOA while losing Dexter Lawrence. I mean, the Giants are almost the perfect boomer bust team this year. I think with the fact that they're playing a last place schedule, with getting Malik Neighbors back, another year of Jackson Dart, and now a competent coaching staff that changes the culture with John Harbaugh. If he can make that culture in New York anything close to what he was doing in Baltimore, I think they're going to be a good team. And I think the Eagles are regressing. Cowboys got a little bit better. Commanders have been a circus. I think the Giants in a lesser NFC can make the postseason. I'll buy it.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I've seen way too many bad New York Giant teams recently. I believe it when I see it. This one might be the best bounce back argument. The Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens went 8-9, but there were multiple reasons why. Lamar Jackson to miss some time. They went 1-4 in one possession games. Defense started off horribly before significantly getting better after the bye. So buy or sell. The Ravens are back to the AFC elite, not the playoffs. They're back to being elite in the AFC.
I sell that. I think they'll be better than average, right, of being 8-9. I think as much as I believe in John Harbaugh with the Giants, sometimes you need a new voice in an area that has, had the same guy over and over again. But I disagreed with the Harbaugh firing. I think that the team's going to show early success. I think a healthy Lamar Jackson plus the defense being a lot better than they were last year and the easier schedule. I think the Ravens will have a way better record than they had last year, but I'm not willing to buy back that they're one of the elite teams in the AFC. I'm not. I get, the Lamar Jackson, he's still only 29, and I get the, maybe the new voice thing a little bit. I was against the John Harbaugh firing. I didn't think that was like the reason why they weren't very good.
That felt like a way overreaction to losing to Pittsburgh in the postseason. That felt like a big time overreaction.
Right. I think so too. So I think from that perspective, I think they're going to have a little bit of early success, and everybody's going to be like, see what happens when you fire John Harbaugh. But the reality is it's going to be their schedule's easier. And as long as they stay healthy, they'll be better. I can't put them at the elite level of the AFC. Not yet. So that was our NFL update, if you will. I don't think the Eagles are getting better. I think they've kind of hit their plateau. I really do. I mean, they didn't have a great year last year either in comparison. And I'm not a big believer in Jalen Hurts. I know he's made it there before, but I don't believe in Sirianni, and I think they're regressing back to the mean. I really do. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. Setting us over at Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Scravey up next.